Hello, we are live. Welcome to Brent Adventure. Tonight we're talking about what it feels like to be Gen Z in Mexico City, and whether the generation entering adulthood right now is experiencing something closer to potentially a global burnout. We're asking about money, work, housing, dating, social media, mental health, identity, artificial intelligence, and whether young people still believe that their lives have become better than the lives in their parents. I'm joined by Mario and Andre
Hey
de Alba.
guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
And thank you for joining us, Andre.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we're going to talk about what happened when you left Mexico City to be an exchange student, and it was Vancouver, right?
Yes, Vancouver Film School.
Amazing. And did living in Canada make her see Mexico differently when she came back? And did she feel more independent, more alone? Did it make her view her culture through a different lens?
Mhm.
But this is going to be another cultural conversation about whether people, older Gen Z to Gen Z, and I'm a millennial, and we're going to talk just about the life of Gen Z. So let's get into it.
Yeah, and thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you, guys. Hey, Lynx, how are you? So
Hey,
Lynx is
Lynx.
watching from Russia.
Yes.
So Lynx,
Ooh.
we do trivia
Mhm.
on here. So Lynx is watching from Russia. So hey, Lynx, it's 4:13. Well, we're glad you're here. Lynx, this will be an interesting topic.
14,
Yeah,
13 a.m. is crazy.
It's worth it.
So Dag Overhaul is in Sweden.
Yeah.
So
But we have a special guest today, guys.
that's
so,
right. This is
she's Andre.
de Alba. So you're an actress in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you went to Canada, and you were in film school. So what was it called?
Yeah.
What was the institute?
But it's Vancouver Film School, and I went there for the 1-year program. I got a scholarship, and so I said to my parents, "Hey, I don't want to go into medicine. I want to study acting."
Pursue acting.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What?
I
You're
wanna
crazy."
Be an actor.
Yeah.
No, they were pretty supportive about it. They were kind of shocked because as a kid, I did like to perform, but I never really seriously talked about
Mhm.
pursuing acting. And so that was like when I presented them with the scholarship opportunity, I was like, so can I?
Mhm.
They were like, well, I mean, if you already got it and you're so passionate about it.
Yeah, I think that was the thing, right? That you already got it. So
They help facilitate, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise it's like, I want to do this thing, but it makes it much more real when you
Exactly.
have it there
Yeah.
at your disposal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm the type of person to like have everything ready and to lay it out to another
Mhm.
person.
That's good.
So it was like, okay, I need a plan and I need like all the answers to the questions that they're going to ask me.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And the program is amazing. It's so complete. Like you get all the bases and all the the basics of acting,
Mhm.
but then you also get to specialize in like motion capture and voice acting. And
Well, motion capture. So Andre de Alba was telling us because she's a bit anti-AI, which I understand.
yeah,
But motion capture. I've been working in that for like a couple of decades. I've had people do they call it mocap,
Yeah.
motion capture. But that's heavily uses AI now to like capture the motions and stuff. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Does that affect your?
it's yeah. Being so anti-AI,
I get it. I'm not here to defend it. I'm just kind of like at this
No,
point,
but
I'm just like it's Google.
Yeah, it's hard because I've done PCAP and mocap,
Mhm.
and just thinking about the fact that all of those, like my biometrics are going to get into the computer, and then
Mhm.
they could use just like one scene with me and then like let me go
And
for
have
the
an
rest
avatar
of the day, and
do the rest
they're
of the
going to
acting.
make the series without me. Like they
Mhm.
could if they wanted to.
Yeah. They
Um,
talk about that at length in this new show with Lisa Kudrow. It's
Mm.
called The Comeback. Have you seen
Yeah.
that show on HBO?
Yeah.
Have you
Yes.
watched the last season? It's all about that. And then she's like, "Well, I'm not going to work on the next season." They're like, "No problem. We'll just have her avatar do it." And she was like, "What?"
It's like,
But
what
that's
do you mean?
like the fear, right?
Yeah.
Links, I hope you're
definitely.
feeling all right. I know it's late, but hey, last questions.
Yes.
Andre de Alba came in and we were like, you know what? Let's go live and we'll show you how it works. Do you guys believe that Gen Z has been dealt a worse deal than previous generations? Like in terms of, we use that term Delta deal, like you get
Mhm.
cards. Do you feel like Gen Z, John Scott's making a good point. He says, can't reformers copyright their image performers? Yes, they can. Absolutely. And right now there's a whole economy of actors and artists like licensing their image out because they know it's going to be used anyway. So it's like the only way to protect themselves is to like go ahead and like
Let them-
license it,
Yeah,
you know, which is kind of scary, but it's like a Black Mirror episode.
true.
You
there
know,
have been legislations about it to kind of protect the likeness and the voice.
right?
For example, here in Mexico, I think I've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, and that's like that suits my mind, because to think that they could just like grab me from any other project or just from the database and just use my image or my voice for whatever they want after. For example, like I had a project when like they wanted to add a scene of like a voiceover scene,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, but you don't need to do it. Like we'll do it with AI." And I was like, "But I do not consent to that necessarily."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we've actually worked on projects where we had to do that,
Yeah.
and we were like, "Are you okay with it?" And the actor was like, "Yeah, sure." Da, da, da. And we like played it for them,
right.
but it is scary because at the same time, it's like maybe a few years ago, I was like, "Oh, I would never do that," and then here I am producing a show and doing that.
Exactly.
But it was because of the convenience in that particular case for the actor and for ourselves, because it was like, you know, but the
But
idea
it's
is you got to get
cheaper.
compensated. That too,
Yeah.
and like getting like the performance, especially if it's like however long it is, it's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But John Scott, yeah, performers can copyright their image. It's just the issue of you know, it says that this kind of insulting to say that to an actress. What did I say? Oh, which one?
I don't know what he refers to.
It's kind of insulting to say that to an actress. Let's see. He says, "Can't performers copyright their image?" John Scott, let me know. John Scott's a regular. He's a really like loyal listener. So
Oh, nice.
and watcher. Yeah.
Hi, John.
Hey, yeah. So do you guys believe in general? So outside of like acting, outside of like performance, just in general, do you think Gen Z has, like, are there benefits or drawbacks? Like, what do you think? How would you describe like what's going on with Gen Z? Because I think it's a mystery to people my age and older. We're like,
Yeah.
what's going through your mind?
Mhm.
You know, you were talking about like 6, 7 earlier, and how
Yeah.
like it's aggravating even for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because I think Gen Z is part of the generation that grew up with the emerging technology. Like
Mhm.
technology was already there for like the millennials, for example. They grew up and then they found technology
Yeah.
somehow or at a
Right.
certain point in their lives. And yeah, like ever since I was a little kid, we had a computer and it
Oh,
was
yeah,
not
totally.
as advanced as it is today.
Right.
But like
Right.
it was slow and like it had to think and load and charge and
Mhm.
but still like we got that the easiness of having everything just
Mhm.
looked up. My mom always told me like, "Oh, I used to go to the library and I couldn't Google
Oh
anything." And it
yeah,
was
they always tell you that.
It's so real,
frustrating.
though.
It's real. It's real.
Exactly. And now
Yeah.
I
It's
compare it
frustrating to hear it, or you're saying you're starting to relate to them.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
relate to them in the sense of like how I feel towards AI, for example.
Mhm.
because
Well, that's
it's
what
like,
John Scott was saying. He was like saying that, like, he was saying it was insulting for that production to tell you, like, don't worry, we got your voice.
Mm.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I do find us an insult as well.
Did you say to the production on that particular job, did you say like, no, like I'll come in and record it and just pay me?
Yeah, I said to the director specifically, like, I'd rather use my time to travel there again and make the time and the effort and everything
Mhm.
rather than you just use my voice.
Yeah,
And-
because once it's in their database, it's kind of like in there forever type of thing.
Exactly. And it was a thing of like honesty as well, because they weren't planning on telling me. They were just gonna add it and that,
Oh,
that was
really?
it. So I was like, I was very pissed at that.
Was it a voiceover? Was it a voiceover, or were they trying to do lip sync?
No voiceover?
So it was like inside of your head, like your thoughts.
Yes and no. It was like an added scene that they wanted, but it was gonna be like a playback of the memories that happened in the film.
So you
And-
basically were like, you weren't going to be like visible in the scene, but like they were overhearing you kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, but you
It
know,
is.
in a way, it's kind of like, gosh, that makes sense. I went to a thing in Los Angeles. It was a big event where I met the director of this movie called Fall.
Mhm.
Did I tell you about that?
No.
These two girls climb a tower, and
Oh,
like,
I saw it.
okay, so
Yeah.
that movie, they use AI for that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I talked to the director, and because they did a presentation at this event. Now the movie's not AI, like it's not all AI. It's
Yeah.
like, but they use some backdrops, some things like that.
Okay.
but they showed how like if they needed to replace, like she said, like, okay, yeah, like maybe they didn't like the way she said that, so she literally, there's a new app and like she could just say it into her phone and it would like motion capture her and
That's
like
crazy.
and they would literally redo the scene without having to bring her in or anything.
Okay.
So it was kind of related to performance capture, motion capture. And so it was, but the actress was like, totally, she was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, you know, so it was all about, it reminded me of like this interview with Scarlett Johansson where they were asking her, like, can you believe people want to watch, you know, the Avengers movies on their phone? And she was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like shocked. But this was like 15 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
But I was shocked. But at the same time, I'm like, I get her point. She's like, why does she, like, she doesn't care because she's like, I'm getting paid.
Anyways,
And but she was like saying the consumer is going to do what the consumer wants to do. Now I'm not defending or anything, but I thought I'll never forget being like, actually, I get where she's coming from, because it's like, why have all this built up tension if something is going to be what it is?
Yeah.
You can vote, you know, with your wallet. But I remember thinking that, and it's interesting because she's like become one of the most successful actresses of our time, because she's now the face of like Jurassic Park, and she's going to be the new face of The Exorcist. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
But it's like, dang. But I remember being like kind of like offended at the time. But you, as I get older, I'm like, you know what? It is sick, you know, que será, whatever will be, will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is a real thing. Like your parents saying I had to walk down to the library. I had to do that, you know, and back when the internet was like, dodon, 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 and it didn't even work.
Yeah.
You know, like it barely worked.
No, and like, for example, I did get, like during my elementary years, I did use the dictionary, for example.
Yeah.
And then like,
But you can
I remember
read?
it being so frustrating for no reason. It was like, I cannot find the words. I cannot seem to know the alphabet now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing when it comes to convenience. It's like it's like, at what point are we shooting ourselves in the foot? You know, I don't know.
exactly.
You know, I think that's the thing about the AI. It's like, how much do you become dependent on it, so that it's like, can you truly think for yourself?
Exactly.
Or you know, are we convincing ourselves that we're using like a word processor to an extent? Because we're like, well, I'm giving it everything that it needs, you know. But it's like, but we're going to provide you with the muscle behind it. You know what I mean? So you're like, you become like psychologically dependent. I mean, there's a thing called chatbot psychosis. People are like falling in love with their chatbots.
I saw an interview on a woman that had a full-blown boyfriend on her computer.
Yeah,
and like,
boyfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
was it an older
1 year
woman?
relationship, and she got tattooed and everything. It was crazy to watch.
That's
wow.
that's like a bit frightening, but it's at the same time you're kind of like, well, that's a natural evolution, not in a good way, but like not in a natural healthy way, but like it's like that's why you feel so resistant to it, because you're like this can only end in like, you know, the Terminator, or you know what I mean, or
some sort of
or Brave New World.
Yeah.
Or I'm afraid to lose like that awareness of it, you know, like I'm afraid to be convinced about it. That's why I feel
absolutely
so resistant.
Absolutely. And
like,
I totally get that.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to like shift my point of view, because right now I feel protected.
Absolutely. I get it.
So like, yeah, giving into it, it's just,
what if I told you all of this is a simulation?
It is.
Yeah.
I do believe you.
Yeah.
You're imagining all this.
No, exactly.
No,
You create your own reality if you really think about it.
Yeah.
That's true. So it's like the power of like manifestation. Like that's very real. Like, you know, willing something into being.
Yeah.
Like go on.
That's very real, but that also makes me think that this is a simulation. Like it goes back to the same thing.
The idea of controlling your reality as well.
I mean, no, I do believe heavily in like manifestation and like the power of the universe, if you may. But it feels so like elevated to an extent that it feels easier to say like it's a simulation, so you can do whatever you want and like form the reality that you want.
Okay, guys. So it's like you're projecting what you want to be. So it's like its own form of manifestation by establishing that it is a simulation, because therefore you can bend it to your will.
Right. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I would like to not like put it just in a simulation, because I think it's like 10 times more than just a simulation. Like I don't
Mhm.
think there's somebody behind just like controlling it, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think it's like, I think the simulation theory is very real. I mean, I think it can be real. I mean, there are a lot of big people out there who think it's real, who are like billionaires. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, if Elon Musk thinks it's real, then it probably is. Cause it's like, how much of it did he will into existence, based off of that own theory? Who
Yeah.
knows? So did you guys answer the question? I think you did. Do you believe Gen Z has been given a worse deal than previous generations? What was your overall answer?
I was just gonna add. I do
Mhm.
think that in some ways we have it easier, to be honest,
Mhm.
because we have like the reachability to technology, and
Right.
I think, I mean, we are obviously talking from our experience, but I think we had like the support coming from our parents and everything.
Right.
Um,
Hey, VT Hoka. VT Hoka's watching from
hey, VT
Finland.
Hoka. Hello, VT Hoka. But at the same time, we also have like this, and we're discussing it here tonight, right? Like the idea of being, troubled in some other ways that are less tangible, maybe.
Right.
Like we're being isolated. Like maybe we're struggling with more real issues, like, I don't know, housing, relationships, and maybe this material stuff also is affecting our ability to see our future
Yeah.
in a positive way, because we were also discussing a little bit about this, but you were saying that you perhaps wouldn't like to have children at this stage of your life. And so I agree. I also wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so I think we should ask ourselves why. And maybe we can come to the conclusion that we are worried that our children see a world that's not suitable for them if it's not suitable for us already.
Or sustainable as well. Like,
yeah. So I think we have it easier in some ways. Because, our parents struggled with like schooling and maybe housing as well.
Right.
But we're also having it harder, I would say, in some
I
other
think
ways.
it's,
Yeah.
listen, they give you guys credit, not to say that like, it's like not credit to that. I think you have it harder, because I think a lot of people say you have it easier, but it's like, is one better than the other? I mean, what is easier?
exactly.
Like, what is easier?
Because
'Cause it's-
easier can be a synonym for accessible,
Mhm.
which
Right.
all the internet is.
Right.
It gives you access
Uh-huh.
to a thing,
Mhm.
information or opportunities,
Mhm.
connections,
Right.
but it also, the isolation part of it all.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why is it? Why this is, I think, what a lot of older people are trying to understand, because I think we're experiencing it too.
Mhm.
It's just, we weren't native to it.
Right.
Mhm.
And so it's like when we see other people, it's like, well, in some ways it's like, because it does feel like I can't get out of the matrix my own self, except
Yeah.
for like unplugging from it. But then there are consequences for doing that too, because so it's like, turning your phone off and then just not looking at it. And then it's like, you have all these consequences for that.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you missed this call, or you missed this business call, or da 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 da. But then if you have your phone on, it's like you have to like delete all these apps, because otherwise there's just notifications everywhere, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Substack. I that's the main reason why I had to delete it, because I'm like, it's all interesting, but it's too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's all too much.
I was
And
like, there's
think-
too much going on there. I'm like, I love these articles, but at the same time, I'm like I can only
It's a
read
rabbit
like
hole.
yeah, I can only read so
definitely.
many like personal essays a day. Like I validate all of you. I'm deleting the app. Bye.
Exactly.
Like I love but John Scott in the chat says he regrets not having kids.
Mhm.
But I think it's also, John Scott, do you regret not having kids because you see Jimmy and like you see like how fun Jimmy is to be around? Or were you already regretting not having kids before that? Michael McSilver says, oh
Hey,
yeah, the world is
Michael.
falling apart. Smart not to have kids.
Hey, Michael.
So people are weighing in on this. It's a big question.
John also said, but without kids, one day you're going to ask yourself, what is this for?
I do think that as well. I do think that I would like to have kids, but maybe
I always think that whenever people tell me that, because I'm like, I get it, but raising my nephew, I kind of feel like I already have a kid.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, it's easy for me, like a cop out, like I can raise him, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I do think it's like, because what is the ultimate goal of life? Like there are a lot of comedians that say like, isn't it like biologically like procreation?
yeah, it's kind of like
Now it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
but there are comedians who say like, all of our ancestors, like what do they have to show for it? Us, it's because like they did, they didn't survive, because it was like the whole point is to have children.
Mhm.
So it is interesting because it's like we look at it from a comedic standpoint, but that's why I think some of these people like Shakespeare, it's like they're exploring the human condition like from a tragic and a comedic standpoint, because in some ways it's like the same thing. It's like it's just the other side of a coin, like the
They seem to
Janus.
the same point, yeah.
But go on, y'all were gonna say something.
Well,
Gen Z Mario show. That's right, Michael McSilvers, you got it. Michael is like our
Michael.
biggest patron.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Yeah, he's so good.
Thank you, Michael. But yeah, I was just gonna.
I regret not having Jimmy. Well, Jimmy is he's 14, so he's like but he's 14, so he's at that age where he's eating like crazy, and so they're saying, but then I consider
And the boy
food,
as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, I was just gonna add that, like the idea, because you can also say like maybe our grandfathers even had like wars going on, and there are some wars going on in the world right now, right? But they maybe are not affecting us on this side of the world as much. So
yeah,
but you are us, yeah.
Yeah, no.
She's like, no, it is affecting us. I'm gonna explain why. I'm kidding.
No, it would, like, with the social media, it does feel like the wars do affect you and should in some way affect you.
That's a really good point. Like they can affect you and they should, that's a good point. Like you really raise a good point there. It's like, why are we so disaffected? Is it like, are we tricking ourselves? Because everything is like the butterfly effect. It's like a very real thing. We've talked about this idea where it's like, a butterfly flaps its wings in China and it can cause a thunderstorm and downtown Oklahoma. Like it's a real thing. Like if you broke it down, it's chaos theory. Chaos theory is a real thing.
Exactly. But it's like, it comes to the same point of like, it's all too much. And so me watching a war on my phone just feels so dystopian.
It's so dystopian. It's so dystopian.
Dehumanizing as well. Because like, why am I able to see this?
John Scott will remember you
doing anything about it, like
and in that way it affects us, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's affecting us in a way that it's causing us to be dehumanized and like not care as much, maybe.
Well, we talked about this all the dystopian novels that were written like from like the 1930s, even some from like there's the oldest one that's like really was from 1904. It was the Napoleon of Notting Hill. And obviously Notting Hill is like a romantic comedy, but Notting Hill is actually an area in like London, right?
Okay.
So it's like a borough, like a neighborhood. And so there was a book written in 1904 called the Napoleon of Notting Hill. And in this book, again, in like the vast future, like 500 years in the future, or actually, never mind. It was in 1984. It wasn't even that far in the future. So he wrote it in 1904, but the future was 1984. Which there's also a book called 1984.
George Orwell's?
Yes. Yeah. But George Orwell wrote his book later. And I think he was inspired by this book.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So in 1984, by this time, like people don't care about anything and there's technology is like everywhere. And so what happens is like there's a king chosen every single year at random. It's like a lottery. And so like in this future, this guy, like his picked to be the king. Okay. And so like as a joke, he's like saying like, oh, okay, like my first mandate is that everybody has to like dress in their they have to make up like a insignia, like a escudo, like a what is it called?
Coat?
Like a coat of arms. Yeah. And like every single neighborhood has to like have their own identity.
Okay.
But what happened is like this one guy, like he became the lord of his borough or his neighborhood, and it was Notting Hill, and he became like, he took it very seriously. But it was the book was like about how like in a world where there's no meaning, like people will, even if it's a joke, people will take that little bit of meaning and like give it meaning. So the book was like kind of like saying it's just a fascinating book, but it's where we are now. But we're way past 1984, like in 2026, halfway through, and about halfway through, and it's like, where are we as a society? Have we done enough self-reflection, or are we moving too fast? That's probably the big question.
Definitely too fast, in my opinion.
John Scott, you're sweet. We love you.
Yes.
They see me play, like Jimmy and I will play, and he was like, oh, like, he's seeing like, whenever you have a kid around, it reminds you like, oh, like it is beautiful to be around children. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like so aggravating because you're like, this is important. And they're like 6, 7. You're like, no.
Yeah. But like from something so isolating as like the 6, 7 loophole, it creates community within them. Like between them,
Yeah.
it's a thing, and so they
Yeah.
connect by it. Like
That's like that's the point, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like they need something to rally around.
Mhm.
And I think the Napoleon of Notting Hill, if you go look up that book, it's probably free because it's in the
I'll look it up.
it's not copyrighted anymore because
Okay.
it's so old. But it like predicted a future where like nobody cares about anything. So it's like even by coming out with a society as a joke, that actually like some people are going to take to that and they're going to like take it to heart. And so it was like, so the book is like profoundly like sad, but at the same time like makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael McSilvers.
Thank you, Michael.
Super chat number 1 to convince everyone kids are too much. Yeah, Michael McSilvers. I love that
Thank
house
you.
in your picture.
Yeah,
He's got this really beautiful
nice.
like what is that? What kind of house is that, Michael McSilvers? Is that a Victorian?
Castle.
I think it's like
yeah,
Well, if you go to like Texas, like it's all over the United States, but if you go to like I'm from a little boom town.
Okay.
A boom town is like whenever it entered like the 1900s or the late 1800s,
Okay.
they had all these people that made $1 billion, and at maybe at the time it was more like millions, but from the railroad, from electricity. So it's like I'm from this little boom town, and like the town, it's like kind of abandoned now, but it's full of these Victorian mansions.
Oh wow.
So it's a Carson Manor.
Carson Manor.
That's
Michael
cool.
McSilvers, do you live in that? That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you, Michael.
I bet the vibes are great in there.
Yeah, I'm from a little town. I don't really say the name of it because it's like also a disputed territory in Israel. So it's called Palestine, Texas. But there's so many of these Victorian houses there. VT Hookah says, Brent, I enjoy watching these live streams because you and Mario do these amazing, but I have to go. Thank you, VT Hookah. So VT Hookah, VT Hookah is in Finland. So this is Andre de Alba. If you want to say hi, VT Hookah. So say hi to VT Hookah. Hi. It says LOL. No, it's a country club now. Okay, good to know.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's
nice.
a lot of upkeep too, because there's so much trim. What do you call trim in Spanish? I can't remember. Like cenefa?
Yeah, I think.
There's like, like the trim, like this trim that you see here.
Yeah.
Because this space was so dingy when I came in, but I added like some little toques, to add some little flavor to it, to make it add some depth.
Right. To give it life.
Yeah, to give it life and like give it some color, So do you like interior design?
I do. I started watching recently this channel on YouTube that is this woman that does interior design, and like
it's fascinating, like what you live in.
Yeah, what like how much you can change the same space with different things. Like just sometimes adding a plant and like a curtain and
like painting.
That part is cool.
Exactly, like or how you use stripes, for example. It's fascinating for me. Like I would have loved to.
It dramatically changes your mindset.
Exactly.
Like what are you inspired by?
The psychology behind it all as well.
Yeah.
Like having a bigger, or the wall feeling like larger, for example. And the impact that it's gonna have in the space and like for you using the space.
And like curtains, like putting it above the window, like where the window ends.
Exactly.
I feel like in Mexico, a lot of the windows go all the way to the top. So I'm like, no, it's all the way to the top. But in some houses, it's like if you put the bar up, it's like the eye doesn't know where to stop. So it makes it feel taller. But these are actually low to me. I can put my whole hand on the ceiling. Yeah. So I feel like I feel like it's tiny where we are now. Just like a jet setter's house, John Scott.
Guys, if you have questions for Andre, you can
do you think young people are like genuinely burned out, or has the word burnout become like overused? Or is it used as like an umbrella term for things? I mean, I would argue that I think the whole world is burned out because of just too much information, too much stimuli. It's like, I would argue that, but I think it's different for everybody, like how they would describe that. Cause he'll tell you like, I'll just put my phone in a corner, but I've also had to like earn that right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, y'all are helping me because I'm not responding to this shit right now.
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's a level of burnout? And you guys can participate in the chat. What do y'all think as well? Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I do think that it's a global thing now. But I think it's specifically after the pandemic.
Like, really good point.
Because during the pandemic, I think it was a really great tool for everyone to just like sustain life, and like the isolating part of the pandemic became the connection part through the social media and like
it's such a paradox,
all of the technology. Exactly. But
really
once we got out, I think it became like the thing that was keeping us from connecting now. in the way, I think it's because like,
Beautifully said.
yeah, because you sit down with someone and you're trying to have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
But then in social media, it's such like a fast pace everything
Environment, yeah.
that even in a conversation that you're having with somebody, it's like, oh, how are you? Cool. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. I saw your post. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
So
Even though it's in real time, it also feels like disconnected from your.
exactly.
What is it
personal-
about? Like,
I think everything is like so futile, like so. Thank you, Michael. I think everything is just like so
thank you, Michael.
passing by.
I was telling Andre de Alba, I was saying like I was like, our people show up because they like us talking about this topic. So this you're seeing that they're contributing. So
Okay,
thank you.
cool.
Thank you, Michael.
I
Yeah.
didn't know what was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very well said. Like the idea of not being able to also feel the time as you used to, maybe because everything
Right.
now is like so untangible.
Yeah.
It does feel like time, like, cause well, also like we gotta go live today, because we gotta talk about something, because otherwise it's like I won't
Thank you,
feel like
Michael.
we've expressed ourselves today, let's say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but why do I feel that way? Because as you get older too, like time is like, you know, have you heard that song? Time keeps on slipping
Yeah.
into the future. It's real, but it's like time is like water in the hand. It's like all you wake up and you're 40.
It goes by.
Yeah.
So fast.
You wake
Right.
up and I'm like, oh my God. But people are like, oh, but you've done a lot of stuff. But I'm like, yeah, but I can't even remember half of it
Exactly.
because it was just moving so fast. And someone even asked me the day, like, but you worked on this movie, right? And I remember I had a conversation with Carla and I was like, she asked me about this movie and I point blank told her, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I realized later, there's someone who used to work with me. No, I worked on it.
Yeah.
But I was just blanking. But it was like this guy this guy Nick Cassavetes. He made this movie called My Sister's Keeper,
Mhm.
and she was asking me about it. And I remember like I was so zonked out that day. She was like, you know that film, right? And she was like testing me, and I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, I worked on that movie. But it was crazy. But it just reminds me though that like sometimes you selectively forget things because some experiences were kind of like traumatic too.
Yeah.
But you can never really articulate it to other people because the reason why it was traumatic was because of a dozen things that were going on in your life at that time.
Exactly.
And the movie is also like very dark. Like it can be seen as very dark.
Okay.
It ended up being like a lighter movie, but at the time it was like so. It was about the idea of having a child to be a donor to your older child.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I realized too, the person who was asking me the question, her mother had recently passed away from cancer. And I think later I was like, she probably thought I was telling her that I didn't watch it because I didn't want to like make her feel uncomfortable. When she's like, I
Right.
know damn well you worked on this. But I literally was just like, I was like not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're not here like most of the time with interactions. For me, it's like when I'm having a conversation or like catching up with someone
Mhm.
on the phone or social media, it's the thing of like I cannot look at them,
Mhm.
so I don't know. And like the language that you use while you're chatting is
Yeah.
different on how like you communicate.
In real life, yeah.
Exactly. So you never really know what they're trying to say. Like
Mhm.
I always feel so confused and so anxious while I'm like chatting with someone that
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like I've seen a couple of times, but I
Even
don't
if you know
really-
them. I mean, even if you know them,
Exactly.
because it's like someone else can like jade them, like, jaded. There's not really a word exactly in Spanish, I don't think.
Yeah, like you get it's like
Exhausted. Or
Yeah, it's like you have a perception. For example, let's say that like, so leaving someone on red, let's say, like that doesn't bother me if the other person, I know who they are and like they're responsible, they got the message or whatever. But it's like this confirmation culture, like everything has to be like, we have to give you a thumbs up or I have to say yes, or
Mhm.
everyone's a bit different. Whereas for a long time, if someone gave me a thumbs up, I thought they were being insulting. They're like,
Mm.
yeah, F you.
Yeah.
But then I later was like, no, they're just being efficient,
exactly.
because back in the day we had to be like, oh, thank you so much. And I'm just like, oh, just go. But I'm like, I don't want to be a part of the problem with the inability to have legitimate conversations. But sometimes you go to a supermarket and you're like, hey, where's the milk? And I'm like, hola, buenas tardes. I'm like, ¿quieres saber cómo fue mi tarde?
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you want to know how my afternoon was? Let me
Yeah.
tell you,
No, the thumbs up thing reminds me of my dad because
Mm-hmm.
every single thing that I like put on our chat is response. Like the response is always going to be a thumbs up, and it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is. Like it's just like
Except
I
for
had a
Bon
good
Scott.
day, or like hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Or my tire how do you say my
Popped.
pumped? Like when you
Popped,
said the
yeah,
punch
popped a
out?
tire.
Yeah.
Or like, or yeah. I had a flat tire, or
I had a flat tire.
yeah, or my tire blew out.
And the
Yeah.
answer
And he
is
was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be okay." And then a thumbs up, and I was like, "Well, great, I'm gonna be okay, you guys."
He's trying to teach you independence, because in a way,
Exactly.
that's how it was back then. It was kind of
Yeah.
like, just figure it out, bye, you know. Because there wasn't this constant immediate communication about things, you know. And it's like, oh, so and so's not here. If someone doesn't show up and they don't say anything, it's like there's like they might be dead.
Yeah.
You know. And so I still am that way, where I won't, you know, I can like leave people in this state of mystery, and they're like, oh my God, and I'm like, I just am from an era where like you didn't constantly check in with people,
Yeah.
you know.
And that is also exhausting. Like for me, I don't like spending my time on my phone. Like I hate having my phone around, and like notifications for me is just like mental hell. Like hell.
Yeah.
It's like having a million tabs open and not being done with anything. And so
I think went viral the other day. There's a girl like it was like translated from like Brazilian Portuguese, but she's like, "Oh, I accidentally closed a tab I was supposed to read 2 years ago."
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I even get that? I'm like, I don't even like look on social media, but like somehow that little meme got to me. But I was like, it's because that's what a powerful meme. But my other grandmother, who passed away a few years ago, I remember she used to like clip the newspaper, like, and I was like, you're never going to read all these articles. But she's like, oh, but you know, like one day I'm like, but why?
I'll get to it. Yeah.
But this was before the internet. And so like, but now like I was like, you know, whenever she like went into a nursing home, we just had to put them all in, we had to throw it all away.
Yeah.
But I felt so bad because I'm like, she spent years clipping these articles, but I'm like, for what? But it was kind of like the Substack thing. It's like, I can't read all of this stuff. Hello.
Exactly.
You know, but it does make you think, like we're trying to preserve and process as much information as we can, which again kind of leads us to the whole AI talk. But
no, and that, I think that's one of the things that leads us to a potential like burnout. Because
nonstop stimulus.
Yeah, exactly.
Or stimuli.
For me, like messages on Instagram, for example, as simple as just like, oh, just answer it quickly, but it like my brain wants to procrastinate all of those because it's just like it's never gonna end. Like I respond to that, and then they're gonna respond back, and then I need to respond back, and then it's like, I don't want to keep this open. Like,
there's implied responsibility even.
So
exactly.
I'm a talent manager, and a lot of people will reach out and they want representation, and I'm genuinely, I look at everybody, but I can't always get back to everyone, because once you respond to someone, you're in a conversation that you don't necessarily need to be in.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't even say I got your materials, because if you do, then they're like, well, okay, what did you think? It's like, I'll respond to you, you know, which is tough, but that's like tough, like that's how it works, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's a very interesting, you know, thing, but you're right. It's like the nonstop back and forth, the ping ponging. And then there's so many apps, and people are like, oh, what's your Insta? And I'm like, I don't use it. And like, oh yes, you do. I'm like, well, that's actually like the company. It's not really me using it.
Yeah.
And like, they don't understand. They think I'm like lying to them. And I'm like, cause you probably do my Insta, I think. But I'm like, I really don't. And they're like, yes, you do. And I'm like, okay.
Sure.
I'm like, but I don't. So like, here's my telephone number.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, boomer. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Millennial,
but whatever.
Well, yeah, exactly. When I think that's the thing, is that once you get to a certain age, it's like they just kind of put you in this whole thing. But it doesn't mean I even like texting either, right? So it's like, who do we call and why do we call, and what are the conversations that we're having? What's meaningful?
Exactly.
What is the biggest thing that older generations misunderstand about people your age?
What are the bigger things?
What are the biggest things, like, or the biggest thing that older generations like misunderstand about your age, if there is anything?
I think it's true for every generation, but I think like older generations tend to like not despreciar, pero like look down at the younger generations, maybe because they don't have the experience, and they are right, because as you grow, you learn. But maybe that's a mistake, because you can also learn a lot from young people. And so
you can, and now we've learned that from Jimmy.
Yeah.
I feel like,
but I do think that's true for every generation. Like it's normal or natural for older generations to think that they know better. And they do in some aspects.
In some way,
in some regard, like maybe they do. But then in other regards, it's like
Yeah,
maybe you're seeing the world through the prism of your experience,
Yeah.
which is maybe not the world that we live in now.
Exactly. Maybe you know more, but you don't necessarily know better.
know everything either.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's they misunderstand a lot. Like I've been getting this comment lately from my parents and like older people that communication is easier now, which is debatable because like in an accessible way, then yes, absolutely.
Totally Nyberg. It's the kids these days effect.
Yeah. But then
True Nyberg.
Nyberg knows I've been saying that for years. I'm like, the kids and then like as the years go by, it seems it's accelerating. So it's like you like at what point, so you have to like, okay, then you have to like surrender to the process and be like, okay, well, I can't be that person who's just saying like the kids these days. So it's like, but I think you're right. It's like we have to really look at it because it's like communication is more accessible, but doesn't not necessarily easier, which is what you're getting to.
Because you don't, it's harder to get your point across. Like depends on what you're trying to do. But for example, in like me trying to get talent representation or like looking out for jobs, for example, it's so easy to get lost in all of the
pool.
Exactly.
You're right. And that's the thing is that it's like talent. It's like, should I follow up? And I'm like, on some level, like you should. But on the other level, it's like, maybe it's inherently annoying for the talent rep, but the reality is that you probably should follow up.
Right.
But don't be offended if they don't respond. But there have been people that it took them 5 times following up. And then I was actually, you know what? They are worth, because maybe it was like, I was always taught the fortune is in the follow-up. And it's because it's like, because maybe they legitimately are just exhausted and they just overlooked you because there literally are hundreds of people a day looking for a representation. But it's like the fact that you followed up so many times, it's like, well, this person has tenacity.
True.
So it's like, if they're a client, they're going to go for it. They're going to go get the thing. So I do think that following up is key. Maybe not necessarily with casting, but with like a manager or an agent, I do actually think following up is productive and to a point. I have someone trying to sell me a script, which is interesting because I'm developing another script, but I'm afraid to look at this person's script because I'm like, if it's even anything near my script, I don't want to be like, oh, well, you made this movie. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't, so you can't open anything. So if you go to our website, it says like, if you send us anything, we own it.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because producers get sued all the time by like they try to sue J.K. Rowling and say like, I came out with Harry Potter. And it's like, like not all those cases got thrown out, but it's like, some of them kind of had a point, but it's like, if you wrote Harry Potter, you would have written Harry Potter.
Right.
So, but it's very interesting, but it's like, I don't open stuff if it's like unsolicited, let's say, but it's interesting. I think, especially in the arts, so much of it is like you have access to more technology than ever, but then so does everybody else. So does that mean that we're all on the same playing field? So does that mean that it's even more competitive? Like what is so it's very interesting. Yeah,
no, for me, like ever since I got back to Mexico, it has been so hard to like make that follow-up, for example, or even just sending out my material, because I was like said that here you wouldn't like, nobody likes unsolicited things or profiles. So I mean, for what we do, like most of the people have been like unsolicited in terms of like actors, right? I think in Mexico it's a bit different because there's just so much less work in general. It's like less than a hundredth, like I'm not kidding, in terms of like between the two countries, because all the stuff in Canada and the United States you get it as well. You know what I mean? Whereas in here, because it's also the biggest language is a big part of it too. Yeah. And then there's like the whole cultural lens too, where it's like you have to know a guy and then he has to like suggest you and like, do I have to like date this person just to get it all? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think in Hollywood it was that way back in the early 2000s. Like I did feel like I had to like date my way. Because it was like there was no other way to kind of like in, which sounds crazy now, but it's like, oh, that's how it was. Weird, right? Yeah. Where it's like now it's like, oh, but that's how it was. And so it doesn't mean that I condone it, Right. Not for actors necessarily, but to an extent, but just for anything. But like, for example, for me, what would you recommend? Because like I've gotten to the point, like I've been here for 1.5 years now back, and I've been working, like I have been working nonstop. Right. Small things, big things, whatever. Right. But I still don't get like the in to the door, to the place, to the room.
I think, well, I don't know. I think, there's an expression where it's like, they used to say, like, in the United States, like, flattery will get you nowhere, but then other people say, like, flattery will get you everywhere. So I think there is some truth to that. I don't know. Do you think the culture here is like they like to be flattered?
Yes.
Like,
I think so.
I think so too. I think so too. I'm like, am I misreading that? You'll let me know.
Because there's like an ego battle going on too here as well.
I think so.
But it comes from a cultural thing of
Yeah.
like the Mexicans. It sounds awful, but like feel like a lesser kind of culture.
It's an inferiority
in a
complex.
way. Exactly.
It's a real thing. Because I've had meetings with people too where it's like they feel like I'm judging them and I'm like, I'm not. And then their anxieties are projected back onto me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was never judging you anyway.
Exactly.
But like now I am because you're judging me.
Yeah.
So there is like there's that whole idea of like cultural supremacy too, which is like a very dangerous territory, but it's very real. But I think it's also like more perceived than it is. Like maybe it's real because it's so like visible. It's like, like the Italian Renaissance art is like, that's like the pinnacle or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't, or French thinkers, it's like maybe like the American cultural, like, our biggest export is our culture.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but then there are other people who argue like America doesn't have a culture. It's like, but it does. It's just everything.
Yeah.
It's like, but I think, I think you do need to impress the people that you want to work with and also like flatter them and make them feel good about what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, I'm not talking about me, but like the people here. And I think because I think people at the end of the day, for the most part, if they enter this business, they're trying to do their best. Like they're trying to create art.
Yeah.
And so, because if you're smart enough to work in the arts, and in some ways you're smart enough to do anything else. Does that make sense? It's like you're smart enough to do something that's going to be way more lucrative. So it's like for you to have surrendered, like obviously you can't do anything else because you love it so much, not because you're not smart enough to do something else, but because you love it so much that you're going to make this work.
Yeah.
And that's how I always felt about entertainment. I was like, you only work in entertainment if you cannot do anything else because of you, like your will not let you. And I think that's true. And so just like, it's like, that whole Avatar thing, like I see you, like the I see you, I think that's one of the first steps. And also like try not to invalidate other people's work, because I think sometimes it happens too. I'm not saying you're doing that, you've ever done that, but I see it sometimes when someone's like, oh, I don't like this type of movie or I don't like that. And I'm like, I mean, it's actually harder to make that comedy than it is that drama.
Yeah.
The comedies are not winning Academy Awards, but they're a lot harder. If you've ever worked on one, you're like, that's so hard.
Yeah. Thinking of Fleabag, for example, that I absolutely love. It's like, I cannot even begin to comprehend how they wrote it. I understand that if it first was a play, and then
it's a cultural thing. Michael McSilvers. So just real quick, Michael's saying inferior to who? He says America's culture is a wasteland. Yeah, that's the thing, is that inside of the culture it feels that way, but outside of the culture it's like, that's what we're referring to, Michael McSilvers. It's not that it is, it's like the perception of.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's kind of like just because of the fact that like $300 million movies are getting made, there's no other place in the world that's happening. So it's like, well, it feels like, okay, well, that's a symptom of it working. The culture working. But I know what he's saying, because Michael McSilvers, you're not wrong. It's like inside of the culture, it feels like there's like a moral decay at the center of it. But externally, you might be, there's still like this prestige to it. And there are still shows getting made that cost $2 million a day. And, but it's not, they're not making 500 of them anymore.
Right.
But anyway, but that's a good point, Michael McSilvers, 100%. But go on. I just wanted to respond to him.
Yeah, no, every time I rewatch Fleabag, it blows my mind all over again. Because like, to think of Phoebe writing it and then putting it into script mode for it to work on film, it just blows me all over again. Because like, it's so tricky and so smart and so like the comedic timing is always so good.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the things that I struggle the most with personally.
Comedic timing?
Sorry?
Did you say comedic timing?
Comedic timing?
What was the thing that you struggle with the most?
Oh, I struggle with comedic timing.
Oh, yeah. So like the pacing of like,
Yes.
I think also because comedy is so like from the cultural point of view too.
Right.
Like Jimmy just recently did, and you haven't met him yet, but he's a very rambunctious, high energy 14-year-old. And he just recently did an audition for a movie, and it was like a rated R comedy. Well, rated R comedy is a very specific genre.
Mhm.
It's like Wedding Crashers,
Okay.
or like any of those movies. Like, did you say Hazme el Favor with Jennifer Lawrence?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, so that's like that's a very specific genre. It's actually very hard to do because it's rated R comedy. It's supposed to actually be funny and also like have a heart at it too, like inside of it. And so he just recently did an audition, and I was like, it's very interesting because in the callback, it was like he obviously got a callback because he's a good actor, but also because it was they need a specific kid at this specific age,
Mm.
and it was for a rated R comedy. But the scenes were very like emotionally touching, and in a way, he did the scenes like just right. But it was like, and they're like, well, it needs to be lighter, and I'm like, but these are like the most emotional scenes, and I was just thinking like, so we sent in additional scenes because they gave us the whole script. But it was interesting because he may get a callback or he may not. We don't, it's like they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
I've had people book crazy big jobs, and you hear nothing, and then then like we need you in 2 days, or we need you tomorrow, and you're like, where were you?
Exactly.
And they're like, well, we don't tell you because we don't want to like leave you wanting it because maybe they had another choice. You know what I mean? But then this other person dropped out, so now you're the better fit to be the son or the whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all about like relationship.
True.
Yeah, like it's the inside of the script too. So it's like the relationship to the culture, the character's relationship to each other.
Yeah.
What is the genre of the thing that you're in? So comedic timing, it's like it's so relative.
Right.
Yeah. And when you're coaching with someone, it's like, gosh, it's like, who's the director? What kind of genre? What is this? I need the whole script before I can tell you what this scene means. Like,
Definitely.
oh, we can't release the whole script. I'm like, okay, well, tell me like more about it, because at the end of the day, it's like you have to make your choices as an actor. So
Absolutely.
do you think do you expect your life to be economically better or worse than your parents' lives?
Damn.
She's like, you just went for the
to be?
I mean, I don't know, that's my question, but I think it's a legitimate question that a lot of people are asking.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think my generation even had, like, I think that the boomer generation was like one of like before the boomers, there was called the greatest generation.
Yeah.
And it was like the people who were alive during World War II, and the boomers were born after World War II. So the greatest generation was before the boomers. And so, but you could buy a house for like $12,000, of course, $12,000 is worth more now because the money was, because of inflation, but still now like your average house is like $400,000.
Yeah. I can see it with my parents, like them having a bunch of properties all over because they were young and they got married and the economy was different, and so they could afford it with
and you're like, my parents
dad
are
only
fancy.
had one job and my mom wasn't working and he was right out of like school. So that to me right now seems amazing and also crazy to think of.
Like, how'd you pull that off? It's like, well,
I worked, but
that's their answer, and it's true, but it might not be true for us.
Exactly, because I think I read this thing on Substack actually, that it was like how is it that we are getting better opportunities or like more schooling? Like I got a degree, for example, and my mom didn't, and so how is it that we are getting more education and lesser opportunities? And because I think
there are a lot of people that say, listen, I worked at a college for many years after I graduated, and they were already talking about like, is higher education going to end up becoming like a scam?
Right.
Because it's like, is it truly worth it? You know what I mean? Because of the accessibility, but you're kind of paying for the order in which the information is given to you, like, and the experience. But you make a good point. It's like you have more education, but it feels. Do you think it's because it's just more competitive too?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's more competitive, but it's also
Keith Peavy House is here, guys.
Hey,
So Keith
Keith.
PV says
Hi.
boomers were the last ones to be able to actually save money while working as a waitress and going to college.
Yeah.
Very good point. Like
True.
there was like you actually could save money, whereas now the cost of everything has inflated so much. There was a time when a hamburger was 25 cents.
Mhm.
And like now that same hamburger is like $5 or $7. And so Keith PV House is a big patron of the
Hey,
channel too.
Keith. Good
So
to
thank
see
you for being here, Keith PV House.
Yes.
Love you.
So he makes a good point, but go on. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm just making sure that the chat
Yeah.
thing.
No, it's the competitive side of it, but it's also like people don't need degrees to do anything now. Like YouTube is a great teacher. Like you can like you don't
Really
need to
is.
hire a plumber, for example. If you put your mind to it, you can learn in YouTube and then you can do it by yourself.
Mhm.
Stuff like that it just become like
So real.
on a larger
hmm
like yeah.
Do you
It's-
think university will change? Like, do you think enrollments will decline over time? Like, is there like theories about that?
Yeah. Well, I'm the type of person that loves learning anything, everything that I can get my hands into.
Mhm.
So I hope not, because like devaluating education, I think is the worst thing that you can do to humanity. Because
Right.
learning is always gonna enrich you as a person and like
Mhm.
others in your community.
Right.
And so I really hope not, but it's also I think of university as a privilege to go to university, especially here in Mexico. Like
I was sorry.
yeah, no,
Uh,
education is a privilege as it is, but then here in Mexico specifically, like
It's like particularly a privilege. Like,
yeah, because I used to work at a hotel for dogs, a dog hotel, I
mhm.
here's
Mm-hmm.
Keith PV House donates. He says for 80 1950s burgers.
Amazing, Keith. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith PV House.
Thank you.
So we're gonna put Andre Dalva on the payroll. Don't worry, we're gonna come in because you're a great guest and you're so knowledgeable and you're so eloquent. And
Thank
it's really
you.
beautiful. And obviously I could tell that from the jump, but from the get go, like from the immediately. But it's so great to be able to express yourself in a different language. I think that is like a huge privilege as well.
Definitely. Absolutely. And that was one of the things that I got reminded more like often when I was in school in Vancouver. Because
I love that you say often, because I've seen a lot of teachers say like, it's not often, it's often. I'm like, more people, I mean, I would say half of people say often and half of people say often. I say often.
yeah,
Mhm.
Because some people say it, like some teachers like it's often. I'm like, I've like walked by schools where like I hear them saying
Right.
it's often. I'm like, you can absolutely say often. I say often.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I heard it as often in
It's both.
Canada.
It's
Like,
both.
there's a lot of words that
No,
they do
but I say
have a
often.
difference in
Like I
the
often
US.
think, yeah. But some
Yeah.
people say often.
Mhm.
But it often is absolutely correct too. But I love that because I hear it all the time. Like I just happen to catch it because my ear is trained for like the
Mhm.
English as a
Yeah.
second language stuff.
True.
But anyway, but yes, often is good. I like it.
Great.
But go on. So you often what?
I was often reminded of the fact that me having this level of communication in English is a privilege and will always be, because I had the privilege to start learning English from preschool.
Mhm.
And so like it got me the opportunity to pursue acting in the way that I got it
Mhm.
at the end of the day. Like something as little as that
Mhm.
was a
It's-
big impact for how my life looks like now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Do you think English is like something is inherently like more like, do you feel like you can express yourself more in English? Like, are there more vocabulary words that you feel like that are immediate, like that are more specific?
Oh, definitely. When I first came back, my friends used to call me fresa.
Absolutely. I
because-
was thinking that, but I'm not that you're fresa, but like I can see how someone would think that, but you're not.
Yeah,
It's like
'cause there
but
were a
fresa
lot of
in Mexico means like you're kind of like hoity-toity, like you
Mhm.
think you're fancier,
Mhm.
or like you think you're like maybe slightly above, but it's not.
Exactly.
So it's like hoity-toity. It's like a term that they don't use anymore, but
Mhm.
if y'all know hoity-toity.
and it was it was funny because I immediately like got used to some phrases or some words that I didn't know how to translate necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't. Like
Yeah.
it's like there's literally you can try, but it won't mean the same thing.
Mhm.
Exactly. And the same way
Even the word
happened-
whatever.
Yeah. No, and that happened, but like when I was there in Spanish, there were some things that I wanted to express, or like some feelings or something that I couldn't say in English because
Tricky.
there wasn't really a word. So I could kind of explain it, but didn't really get the point across. And especially with like acting, because I was trained in English. So it felt really different to come back and act in Spanish as well. It was just like my voice sounded different, and I used like my intonation differently, and like it felt so weird at first. It was shocking because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I was just expecting to be back and like using my own language, and that was it.
Yeah.
But everything kind of changed and shifted.
Like
in some
language can like, it can expand the way you view things, or it can like constrict. And so it's so important, like, and this is why we like to talk about stuff every single day, that it's like dramatically different than the day before,
right?
Because it's like we're stretching like the mental plasticity like of our own minds, and like saying like, what can we truly come across or comprehend like in a day, where it's like we talk about stuff that it's like people, you know, something that people think about over a span of a decade. We talked about it in 2 hours or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it kind of, you go to bed feeling like, oh, okay, like I feel like I really got to use my brain today. You know,
Exactly.
you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael
Yeah.
Silvers. He says fresa.
Thank you,
All right.
Michael.
Does adulthood still feel exciting, or does it mostly feel stressful?
Stressful.
I gotta say, I feel excited because
Right.
I'm just a couple of years older than you. But when we were talking a little bit about like how you understand things as you grow, I was gonna tell you, like, I felt that whenever I turned 24, that my whole mind shifted in a positive way,
Okay.
because I feel as things affected me the way they used to. And so I feel positive about the future, even though it might not, I mean, the landscape might be a little bit, you know, not the best one, but
Right.
I feel positive
Different.
because of that, because of the ability we have as humans to adapt.
Sure.
And I do think that
I think
do
that adaptability is
feel-
everything, because I'll have days where I feel like I'm like, I can't do anything, and then I'm like, oh, but you did all these things, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and that was way harder then.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, so you can kind of, but I think, you know, to the outside person, it's like you have to really know yourself, because it's like you have no obligation to be the person that you were yesterday
yeah, and
or
Definitely.
even an hour ago.
What story
So-
do you want to tell today? That's the thing that
Yeah.
has been coming to my mind recently, because I like, it was one day that I was sadly running late to set, and so I was
How
getting
dare
stressed.
you? Yeah, I'm just kidding.
No, it was
Thank you,
bad.
Michael.
You're good.
It won't happen again. No, it never happens.
No, I believe you. It's a good story though, because it just happens, because
Yeah.
things happen.
It got out of my control, so I was running late.
Yeah.
And I was getting stressed and like just anxious, and I knew that I couldn't work that way. So I was on my drive there. I was like, okay, what
like your
story do I want to
choice.
tell today? Like, I still have the chance to show up and like be on my feet and like be ready and not be thinking about the fact that I'm late, because I'm already late. So let me just
Why make it
change
worse?
the perspective.
Exactly. Why make it worse?
Yeah.
It's so true. That is like the most powerful. It's like reframing. It's like, you know, people pull out a grenade and sit on it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, I'm like, and it's like, if something is already difficult, don't make it worse by your mindset.
Exactly.
Something may be already inherently difficult, but it's
Yeah.
like that, you know, I remember when Frozen came out, that was like so powerful, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, hurt themselves or do things or just live in a state of depression, but it's like, you have to like let things go, like let it go. And I don't even think about it as letting it go. It's like, I kind of just like selectively forget things too.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
think that can be, you know, to be careful about that, because I'm like, you know, might overly forget. But I think that you have to, you know, be in the moment and let it play out, and not get so into your head that because we're our own worst enemies in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
It's like there was a famous philosopher who said like all of the worst tragedies that you've ever happened were imagined. And it's so true. It's like, because you're just imagining the worst thing that could happen. It's like those things never happen to you. It's
Yeah.
like, but we all, you know, there's like a state of dread, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so like back to the question, I I feel so excited about the future as well, but then in the present moment I catch myself so stressed out because it's because I don't know how it's going to work out, or like what my next step is going to be that is going to like maybe transform the thing, or maybe get the job or not get the job and get another thing that was expecting me. So like it's hard to sit in between both, but it's,
I think adulthood also gives you that resilience at the end of the day.
true.
And Brent
Like,
was
I
saying,
survived that thing.
Yeah.
I'll get to the next thing.
Exactly.
And Brent was saying, as you grow, you also like learn more about yourself. And so I think that's the part I've been enjoying about my adulthood, because I've get to know myself better as well. It's hot in here.
It is.
But
There's like steam on the window.
it's hot in here, guys.
That's crazy.
I was like, they've got to be so hot. There's a fan also next to you. If you want to push like 1-3 or something, it'll turn on the fan.
Put 3.
On 3. You guys, there was literally steam on the windows. It's so warm in here. But I was like, the conversation's really flowing. This is great.
The air was not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they're joking. Another way to say fresa is bougie. Remember that word bougie?
Oh, bougie.
Bougie. It's bougie, and it comes from like, I think isn't it from bourgeoisie, Michael McSilvers? I think it comes from the bourgeois. Yeah.
You bougie, you out of place.
Yeah. But they're joking. Michael McSilvers is like our best. Like he's so amazing. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
I do think that's the part that I've most enjoyed about adulthood. Yeah, you get to learn about yourself as well.
Yeah.
And you have to like radically forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Just let me just say that.
True.
Like forgive yourself, because you have to forgive others, but forgiving yourself is so key. Most people, it's like they start to spiral out of control because they don't know how to forgive themselves for maybe like ruining an opportunity or something. Well, it's like, if you don't forgive yourself, you're just going to keep spiraling.
Yeah.
So just like get over it. Like let it go.
Because you might as well be surprised by people also be forgiving towards you. I think that's, we take that for granted. Maybe like we think that they are not going to be forgiving towards us, but then at the end of the day, they are us. So I think it's also better to just be easy on yourself to not. Yeah.
And you want to be around people that are forgiving too. Like you want to model that, because if your parents weren't very forgiving with you, obviously you want to learn from your mistakes, but
right.
But one of the biggest things is like, I think there's like a symptom of like the worst thing I can see in a person is like unforgiveness, because you can see it all over their face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like they're just like guardan rencor. Like they hold on to like anger and like resentment. Resentment
like
is
tension
like
that it manifests like that.
It does. It really does. So it's like, that's why like letting things go is like the biggest life lesson you can learn. It's like, because there'll be things you'll feel like, oh, I wasted that, or it's like, actually you're wasting this moment by thinking about that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I'm still on the verge of like entering that, because when I turned 20, it was like, as well, it was just like I felt a whole transformation of myself. For some reason, it was just like the number changed, but during the night,
those numbers they play with your mind.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And so, I've been slowly getting into that journey of forgiving yourself and like.
Sometimes there's nothing to forgive.
Vessel as it is, like for example, for an actor, your instrument is you.
Yeah,
you are your instrument, and so you take care of your instrument. You tune it and you practice it, and so it's like it's
so real.
It starts with love, and
because why would you treat yourself bad if you're the only thing you have at the end of the day?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just a one-way ticket, and so that's cool to think about. Scary but cool.
As you
march into the future too, like there's so many people that are, you're around that are like in their 60s, and it's like, and they're so calm and peaceful, 70s, 80s, and it's like, right, because what's the alternative? Being in like a sheer state of existential dread nonstop? No. True. Like, so you have to like slow down, enjoy the moment. And, I have to remind myself that like savoring the thing is like how you actually can juice it and get the most out of it. Because if you're if you're just constantly in a state of worry, that's the most life wasting event.
Yeah, that's the
ever.
worst case scenario, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do y'all think Gen Z is like a label that y'all even identify with, or do you think marketers just like came up with that? Like, is it just like a marketing term? Because I mean, or is there something that you feel like makes sense, like for that, the way they bundle ages?
I think both statements are true in some way.
Mhm.
I think we're obsessed. Our generation is obsessed with like labeling ourselves
Oh, definitely.
because we're also trying to define ourselves,
Yeah.
maybe. And so I think there's something about the term Gen Z that fits us. I feel like it fits me, maybe.
Yeah.
But I do think that like the obsession with labels can lead you to make your whole personality like a thing that's not really you.
Right.
So because not every Gen Z is the same thing, right? So
You're saying the obsession with labels?
yeah, like the obsession of labels.
Yeah, I'm not big into labels personally, and I used to think it was annoying. People, it's like I don't do labels, but I get it now because it's like you age like wine, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm not anyone. I mean,
Yeah, because they sometimes get so reductive that they don't even serve the purpose that
of the label itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like meta. What is that? Is that metanesis? What is this? What is that called? Like the idea of the metagenesis.
I think.
But there's some theory behind like sometimes by labeling something you can reduce it. You know, you can actually be more harmful.
Mhm.
Yeah, because by naming it, you're putting it in like
A box.
kind of a box.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're delimiting the lines.
John
of
Scott, I'm
the
with you.
thing.
John Scott, you're like
Mhm.
my brother from another mother. Have you noticed me and you, John Scott, are like vibing? John Scott is like my proxy. I feel like I'm
Okay.
John Scott's mouthpiece because I feel like he's always saying stuff, and I'm like, exactly. He's like, I don't think there's Gen this, there's Gen that. I think that it can be helpful for classification purposes, but
Yeah.
then some people kind of feel like they're born in the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel like I would be happier if I was born in the 20s.
Mhm.
But obviously that
Mm.
means I would encounter the Great Depression and all the
Right.
things that came with that.
Yeah.
But I would love like to see like the birth of cinema, but also like I would like to have like the knowing what I know now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's like the paradox.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you were, do you truly want to be born then? Because then it's like, it's like we're just going to throw you into the the experience. And a lot of people compare our access to technology kind of like a Black Mirror episode, because it's like if we have everything we wish, what we want, it's like there are consequences that are very horrific and scary if we do get what we want immediately.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is like, have you seen Black Mirror?
Yes.
Yeah,
Not all of it, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's so great because it's like it's so mind bending, but at the same time, it's like they're all kind of be careful what you wish for scenarios to an extent.
Mhm.
Definitely.
What experiences unite people in your generation beyond 6'7"? He says, "I'm selfish. I'm Gen Me, not Gen Z."
I love that. I
That's
love
hilarious.
that. I'm gonna start saying that, kid.
I'm not Gen Z. I'm Gen Me.
Gen Me.
That's hilarious.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Like
Stealing that.
Yeah, no, I am.
y'all are too young, but do you remember the Babadook?
Yeah.
Anyway, there was like Carrie. I was around during the height of Sex in the City, and so everybody would be like, and I couldn't help but wonder because that was like
Yeah.
a meme. And so she was like, since Babadoo became such a gay icon, she was like, what could I do to become one myself? It was just everything was like a play off of like Carrie Bradshaw, which is
Okay.
the character in Sex and the City.
Yeah.
But if you watch it, like she used to say, like, and I couldn't help but wonder, and then she would say, and at the end of the episode, and then just like that, which is why the remake was, and just like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, that I cannot tell y'all, like that was what that book is kind of talking about behind you, is like that show like changed the way we view television forever. Like
Mhm.
that, like at least for like that whole era.
Yeah.
And so like what television is now is a bit unrecognizable to what
Mhm.
it was in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Mhm.
Everybody watched Sex and the City, like all women and like gay men did. Do you know what I mean? And so it was such a cultural phenomenon, and the men were watching The Sopranos, and I
Right.
watched both. I mean, like I was really into it. But that book it talks a lot about how like that was like the turning point. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
you feel free to take that with you to read it.
Yeah.
It's a great
I
book.
will. I really need to, because I don't really know a lot of series and shows from the like early 90s or 80s, for example.
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar with any.
I used to watch
Yeah.
this show with oh my gosh, with Bruce Willis and what was it? Where she was a detective. He was a detective at night. What do you guys remember? Help me with this one. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Babadook is a gay icon.
Thank you,
Michael
Michael.
McSilvers.
Yes.
Do you remember that meme where she was like, Carrie Bradshaw was like, what can I Baba do to become one myself? Like, it was just so funny.
Wonder. Yeah.
I couldn't help but wonder, what could I Baba do?
I think that's a meme up till this day.
So is it still circulating? Like I couldn't help
not
but wonder.
Not the Babadook part. But
not the Baba. The Babadook was a specific one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you remember that? I remember laughing out loud when I saw that meme.
Mm.
What could I Baba do to become one? But she already was one. My friends say that I'm the straightest gay guy ever. I gloss over. Yeah, I kind of do that too. I kind of like because it's like I don't necessarily like identify with it, but I don't hate it. I'm not against it. Moonlighting. Thank you, Keep PV House.
Ooh.
That's the show I used to watch growing up. Was Moonlighting.
Oh.
So moonlighting. It means like if you have a job that you do at night, it's called moonlighting. Thanks. See, they know these references, and it helps you have a bigger cultural perspective. But that was Sybil Shepherd. I was Sybil Shepherd and
yes, Keith. Yeah.
Sybil Shepherd. Yeah, there it is. Sybil Shepherd.
I'm gonna look it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, we used to tape it on like VHS, and it was like it was all like the picture would skip and stuff. And that show is the bomb. Like we loved it. I mean, it was also the 80s was so like there was so much abundance everywhere. It was just wild. Yeah. Like the 80s was like the crazy big hair, the fashion, like it was so
the
music, the synth, you know, it was 80s was the best. Yeah. But see, they know Moonlighting was a great show. I don't even know if it's on a streaming service anywhere because it was so low resolution. Like it wasn't like filmed like, you know, some of these shows now. It was filmed on like the early days of like videotape.
Cool.
Yeah. But it was a huge budgeted show. I mean, Sybil Shepherd was a huge actress in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, John Scott.
Just to answer your question, I think that the experience would be like the digital experience. Like we all grew up with at least some sort of connection with the digital world already.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what our collective experience is.
Definitely.
For Gen Z.
And I think the topic on mental health is as well very uniting within our generation.
Yeah. We're open to talk about it, right?
Yeah. We all want to be talking about it all the time. And it's like, because everyone has their own experience, right? And so it's just become like a way of being vulnerable and socially acceptable at the same time. Because it's like, oh, my mental health. And then you kind of get to deep dive into that is such an honest part of all of us.
Absolutely. And I'm with Gen Z on that.
Yeah.
I feel like I was always doing that. And people be like, you're like, what are you talking about?
You weirdo.
Well, maybe I got it passed because I was working in the arts.
True.
So there was that. But I do know that in any other industry, they were like get over it, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, we don't talk about these things. You can't just like sweep everything under the rug. Like we have to like talk about things, and that in itself, that's why therapy is so healing, because you're just talking about it. It doesn't mean I have the answer right here, but boom, you're already feeling better because you've acknowledged it.
Exactly. It's real now, and you can play with it or around it. So it becomes,
it's not this storm.
Exactly.
It's
It's
like
not this
hovering over
imaginary thing going in
Like,
your
you're like,
brain or
"Ah."
like this voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by sharing it, it just becomes like a
more real also.
Exactly.
It says mental health didn't exist in the 80s. We had to suck it up and not talk about emotions. They're actually real. That's how it was. It
And
really
I
didn't talk
do
about
believe it. Yeah, my dad till this day like sometimes expresses symptoms of anxiety, and it's like, but I don't have anxiety because I've never had that, and I'm never gonna have it because that's not the thing that I can experience.
You're experiencing it. You don't know how to like quantify it or label
exactly.
it.
Or you're just not familiar with the label maybe, or like the accepting part of it. Because he still views it as like bad in himself.
Yeah.
Like that's a wrong
it's like a
thing
weakness.
to be feeling, you know?
Right.
Although I will say that it's also our responsibility to not fall into the trap of defining ourselves by that specific condition.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think we're like
Goes back to
we're
the
acutely
labeling.
aware of it.
Yeah.
But it's like like the over labeling. It's like, oh, I'm OCD, I'm ADD, I'm ADHD.
Exactly. It's
I have this, I have that. It's like, well, what don't you have is a better question.
Diagnostic is
Yeah,
so
that
bad
might-
for us.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah.
also a trap. But it's
Definitely.
important
Yeah.
to identify maybe the patterns or the symptoms, and then do something about it, but not just excusing our behavior just because of I'm ADD.
Definitely. Yeah, because the
Good point.
trying to like justify it
Mhm.
from that it's become such a big thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've worked with people that is like, oh, I'm just very like, I forget things and
Yeah.
I don't arrive on time because I have ADHD. And it's like, well, I mean, yes, that's valid, but it's also like, then how are you working on that so that doesn't happen?
So it doesn't
like-
affect you.
Exactly, or
Yeah.
Right.
others, you know,
Yeah.
like
John
how are
Scott said,
you-
like, if everyone's a safe place, then it's like no one's growing. If everywhere is a safe space,
Yeah.
I think there's some
Exactly.
truth there where it's like, because you're kind of forced to grow out of being uncomfortable. I do think that everywhere should feel safe, because I definitely didn't feel safe growing up. I mean, I did not feel safe around a lot of places, and that was traumatizing. And so I think I really do see the importance of safe spaces. But I think that
you
what
grew
John
up in
Scott-
Texas, right?
yeah. And so it was just, just like I remember getting slammed into like a brick wall, like just like
Damn.
crazy stuff. But it was so normal. Like it was, I mean, it's not like, because, at the time I was like, yeah, but then like later you're like, oh no, that really did traumatize me. So then like, maybe you start to look at it in your 30s,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you're like, because it's like, there was no time to deal with it because you were, living life, and also there was no one else to say like, yeah, I hear you,
Mhm.
Exactly.
So it is interesting. I told him I had a dream last night where I was like in my childhood bed. I was like in the 80s. It was like I was in my room last night, and I'm like, why? I'm like, there must be something I didn't deal with. There's something happened to me,
Right.
Um,
Something that triggered the
yeah.
like the memory.
Why
of-
did I go I went
feeling.
40 years back.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
To this because last night I was like, I usually sleep with my mouth closed, but I was sleeping with my mouth open, and I was like, oh my God, I remember I used to sleep with my mouth open as a child. And like I had this like, do you ever like dream that you go to the refrigerator or go to the kitchen or
Yeah.
go to so I was having one of those last night. So it was very like,
That's crazy.
it felt like astral projection or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Were you hungry?
I think I actually was hungry, to be honest with you. I think I was. Too much Ozempic. No, I'm kidding. I think that's another thing too, is that I remember like when celebrities were overweight, and like now it's like almost no celebrities are overweight, or if they are, it's like a conscious choice.
Mhm.
So that was
they're choosing to be
Right.
overweight.
yeah, which I
Yeah.
think is great. And that, but it's so weird because
It's a crazy thing
Celebrities
to think
talk-
about as well.
yeah, well, when you go to LA, like everyone is in like perfect shape,
Mhm.
and you're like, and so if you're not, it's like a statement. If
Yeah,
you're not like in
like
great
a-
shape, it's like a political statement. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm part of the resistance,
Yeah.
So it's real.
Yeah, because also the use of Ozempic is also like a way to show your richness, kind of,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
and your
I'm injecting myself
like,
right now. Hold on.
status as well.
No, that's real. That's real. And then I think also too, it's like, all the people like in Hollywood, like everyone's getting accused of using it,
Mhm.
and then some people are not, and then other people are. And so it's like, but it's kind of like maybe AI. It's like, who's using it, who's not using it to get it, like to
Exactly.
get an advantage or
Mhm.
whatever. But you're right. It is like a status thing, but I don't
Yeah.
think people are necessarily telling everybody. I mean, I'm joking, but it does feel like that.
It does.
Like Oprah, for example, it's like she struggled. You know, Oprah is Oprah.
Yeah.
Like she struggled with her weight for so long. And so people used to joke back in the 80s, they're like, Oprah's fat again. Like,
Mhm.
she's so rich, but like, if she can't stay skinny, then it gives me permission to not be able to stay skinny.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Because she was so rich and she kept yo-yoing, getting bigger and then getting
Yeah.
smaller.
Mhm.
And then now that's kind of disappeared. You don't see that much.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and that also adds to the whole pressure of the online persona and like
Yeah.
who you are in this world and like the status that you hold.
Mhm.
From as simple as like how do you like
How
how
you-
does your body look like
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
And it's scary to think that like it can be as diminishing as that.
Mhm.
It is like, or like when people are like, oh, you don't look your age. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't necessarily want you to say that, because it's like when will you stop saying that?
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, thank you. But at the same time, it's like, is that helpful? I mean, I'm never going to be like, how dare you? No, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, you know, like, you know, it can trip you up. I think if you're like if you're Angelina Jolie, everyone's like, you're so pretty, you're so pretty, you're so pretty. Like at what point is like, well, someone uploaded a picture of her. They're like, look at her. I'm like, she's 50. What do you like? She looks great. You know?
Yeah.
Like she looks great.
Yeah.
Don't. So it's, but even
let women age, please.
All of us age.
All of us age.
100%.
It is crazy.
You're giving
to think,
twink,
like,
Brent.
Yeah.
You're like,
no, nowadays, like nobody wants to age. And it's
that's
such
like
a scary
there are videos
thing.
about that for sure.
Yeah. Because like I get a lot that I look older than I am.
Oh, really?
And it's, yeah.
I mean, you probably will look that age like for the 20 years. You know what I mean? You'll probably look like that for 20 years.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping for.
No, you will. I mean, this is what I do. I look at people's faces and I mean, you will.
Okay, great.
Same with that one.
Because I've been worried for the last couple of years. I've been getting like, oh, you're like 25, 26. The last one that
I could
got
see
was
that, but that's not a
27.
bad thing. It's not a bad thing because for
Not
actors, you
necessarily.
end up looking that age for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do you see the pictures for me from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't look that different.
No.
You know,
No.
there are pictures for me from like over 20 years ago. I put on Jimmy's page because people are like, oh, I'm like, no, you know, this is way before Jimmy was born.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I look that different, but I think it's just because I think stress is the ultimate killer.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that's why I selectively forget stuff because it's
You
like
know what?
some things are
I might
so
take your method.
yeah, because I'm like, this is so crazy what happened to me. Like, there's no words for it. So I'm just going to like kind of forget it. Now,
Yeah.
maybe on some subconscious level, it's still there, but
Probably.
I'm forgetting it in the sense that it doesn't, I'm not, you don't deserve to occupy any more space in my brain. Like getting slammed into a wall. Like I saw something that reminded me, oh yeah, that happened to me like so many times where they used to grab your backpack and like swing you into a wall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but
I don't need that
happened
right now.
Yeah. I mean, what do I need
Yeah.
to like relive that again? I don't know.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't forget to
Selective
leave a like on the
memory.
video.
It's a
Yeah.
thing.
Selective memory. And I think it's not necessarily bad. So what criticism of Gen Z do you secretly think might be fair?
Criticism.
Like a criticism like of Gen Z that you're like
But,
secretly might be like, you know what, actually that's fair.
Yeah.
Like that's like a fair assessment.
I think
Like-
that,
Like the boomer, like there's people say like the boomers and millennials, like probably more boomers, but like created the economic storm that we're
Mhm.
living in. And like we're all living with the consequences of boomers and the greater generation.
Yeah.
And like how it's like we're living in an unjust economic system that built by them. And I used to think that's kind of unfair, but now I'm like, actually that is fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I see what my parents did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's real. Like you know, not that they did it consciously to try to hurt their own children, but millennials are not too far away, and Gen X are not too far away from the Gen Z anxieties. Cause it's like a lot of millennials don't have houses either,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You had something.
I was gonna say I do think that they're right when they say that we're too caught up in ourselves, maybe.
Yeah. Definitely. The individualism thing.
Yeah,
Like self-indulgence maybe, or
maybe that we're not as expressive, maybe like that we're just in our phones, maybe. I mean, that might be true.
Mhm.
I guess it's just like, again, like the sense of isolation we
True.
have, and maybe like I think that we are also trying to discover who we are.
Yeah.
And by doing so, we're also isolating ourselves because we think it's like a way to be with ourselves and like with our real definition of self.
Comprehended. Fully comprehended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
like fully
do-
self-actualized.
Mhm.
Like you can only be yourself if you're like alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think that's a trap as well.
I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah,
I
but,
spent a lot of years around a bunch of people, and then like I only really kind of discovered myself when I was alone.
Mhm.
And then so maybe I spent a lot of time alone because it's like there's an idea and I'm like, well, it'll escape if I don't sit with it.
But at the same
And that's a
time,
luxury too, I guess.
But
Right.
at the same time, I do feel like you know about yourself with, like, for example, friends or people who
Yeah.
you feel confident with.
True, John Scott. He says even if you own a house,
maybe
it does
that.
feel like you're drowning because your
Mhm.
mortgage is so high. But go on. But I think this is really interesting. This is something that's on everyone's mind,
Mhm.
and this is what we'd like to talk about here on this channel. Is like this stuff that's on everyone's mind, but maybe they're not talking about it because maybe they don't feel like they have a safe space to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think, I definitely relate to. I mean, I relate to boomers. I relate to Gen Z. I can only imagine what it's like to be Gen Alpha.
Mhm.
Like these people who were 13 and younger. It's like, what is like our beta? Beta is
Mhm.
2025. So
Yeah.
that's 2025 and on.
Started last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, what is the world? And again, that's why because there are people your age who already have children,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
And
they're
so,
getting married and like have
but that's how it used to be more that way.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna go back to the labeling because I remember you
Mhm.
said it's like
You're hilarious, Dag overall.
Gen Z has been growing up.
Mhm.
Like that has been our existence so far. Like we've grown up.
Mhm.
And so labeling is also a part of like discovering yourself
Mhm.
and attaching yourself to something that is going to relate you to the other person.
Yeah.
Right.
So it as important as it is, also like the individualism part of it
Mhm.
all,
Yeah.
it's like so it gets so confusing
Yeah.
because it's like, well, I'm just trying to be me because I'm me and I have
Mhm.
the opportunity, but then it's also like, but how am I going to relate to others but still be unique? So
Yeah.
I'm interesting, kind of.
Yeah. No,
So
I think as an actor too, like
Yeah.
Shakespeare said like all the world's a stage too, and I think when we're all performing at all times anyway. So, but
definitely.
like I think there's something radically honest about being an actor because it's like you're acknowledging that the world's a stage anyway. So you might as well be like an actor so that you can, show all the different sides of yourself that are
all the things that I could be.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the multiverse of
Mhm.
Andre de Alba. Like
Yeah.
all the things you could be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you think your generation is more tolerant or more afraid of saying the wrong thing publicly? Because like my generation, like it was like some of the things they said were kind of like seen as like bigoted. It's kind of like da 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 da. Where it was like I think Gen Z was more like the understanding and like the protest
Yeah.
generation too.
Yeah.
Like, because my generation, like, there was like you did not protest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like we were not protesting.
No, I think we're more tolerant, but it depends on the media that you're getting into.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because like if it's on the internet, you're probably gonna get a lot of backlash, like
Mhm.
negative comments, and like because
Yeah.
now everybody feels like entitled to have a
Yeah.
strong opinion on you or whatever it is that
Right.
you're saying.
Right.
Which is, I guess, in some way valid.
Because
But
they're behind the screen most of the time.
exactly.
Yeah.
But then like in a one-on-one conversation, I think we are more tolerable.
Mhm.
Like I love sitting down to have a conversation with somebody that has just said something that is completely the opposite of what I think or like my moral values are.
Right.
And so like getting to know the other perspective and like why are they having that opinion in this moment and like what's where are they coming from, right?
And what led you to this conclusion or to this point?
Exactly. Or
Because
like
it's like it didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, like how does your life look like that is your point of view? And so I think we all, like as a generation, share that, like that compassion, I think,
That's
or
the
like
word.
the understanding.
And the empathy, just
Empathy.
like is understanding where the other person comes from. It's like, or I learned like in my 30s, it's like instead of saying what's wrong with you, it's like what happened to you.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
dang, like that was a radical reframing versus like saying what's wrong with you. It's like what happened to you to make you this way. Like what were the things that happened to you? Because I don't think people choose to be anything other than their best selves.
Yeah.
Consciously anyway.
Yep.
So it's like if there's anything that's negative, it's probably some coping mechanism. It's like it's manifesting as a negative trait.
Or is something that they cannot like see away from their own reality. Like it's just so ingrained in like what they're living or experiencing or they have experienced throughout their whole life that it just becomes like a normal thing or like a way of thinking that is just so core to them. Yeah, to them.
Yeah.
Michael McSilver says, I appreciate the Gen Z tolerance of my fabulous gay sparkle. Allies.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. It's like I remember when that became, because I used to think that was like, that was, I was like, it became like part of the mainstream culture. Like, yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's ours,
Right.
But I love it. Michael McSilver is just great.
For example, I love the sleigh, just like such
Slay
it can be
queen.
such like a common thing, but it
No,
feels
it's
so special to me because like
it used to
I
be
s-
so unique. Like it used to
Yeah.
be. I think RuPaul's Drag Race like really like blew open the doors because it was like kind of like a secretive terminology
Yeah.
and like spilled the
I
tea.
love RuPaul.
Well, like it was so bizarre for me in my life to see him become mainstream because like he
Right.
was not. Like,
Yeah.
it was a unique thing, but he was he was all about radical self acceptance because he would say like, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's really true.
Yeah,
Like, what a great way to put that.
absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, I remember watching it when I was little with my
wow.
cousins, and we just loved like all of it.
Mhm.
Everything was just it felt like magical in some way.
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like infant. And I think it was Michael McSilver saying, Mario, you should do drag. He said you have a great. he sent me a text this week, and he was like Mario is great for drag. I'm like, I should ask him about that.
Would you?
Like maybe. I mean, I'm not
I was
against it.
around drag queens so much. I mean, I'm nothing against it. I just think it would probably be like it's like makeup for all the things. It's like I would feel like I was playing an alien in a movie. Like I'm not gonna sit in the makeup chair for 6 hours type of thing.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Definitely.
Do most people your age still want the traditional life, career, marriage, children, and a home? I think
some parts of it.
Yeah.
I think we want the traditional like housing, and the work.
I know that too, Michael.
Yeah, but I don't think we like the family structure, for example, has changed so much, and like
used to be really strict.
Also feeling that we have a decision on it as well.
Yeah.
Like as a woman, I'm talking about like abortion rights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which is really important, and like it's so.
We just talked about that yesterday. And I was like, my mind is like changed in the last. Like I'm more open-minded because of just things that I've experienced and like things that I've witnessed, it's like, whereas I was like so vehemently against that. But, because I worked in a women's center at my university for a period of time and I saw people kind of abuse it, but I'm like, that's not the representative of the whole, that experience that I had. Yeah. So it was very interesting.
And so like, I think
they're saying, please say yes to doing drag. Michael McSilvers, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Mario's going to laugh out loud when he has that.
I mean, I'm not saying no.
Yeah, he's not saying no.
I think you should. I can see it.
What do you think burnout feels like from a perspective of someone your age? Thank you, Keith Peavy House.
Thank you.
He says, Michael, I wish that I could apply glitter to sparkles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're like, they love the shine. Like, I think there is something too about like, I take it back. Our generation did protest for the gay rights. You know what I mean? That was big. Not for like necessarily political stuff as much, but like for the pride parades and stuff. But now I feel like I just went out and the parade was so scandalous. I was like, I didn't want Jimmy to go because he didn't want to go. But because everybody was like, walking around naked. So I was like, there's that part. So I was like, so it's interesting. So we'll see. But what does burnout feel like from the perspective of someone your age? Like, what does that feel like, or what does it look like?
Ooh, I think
it's like,
I think for me,
it looks like different things to different people.
Yeah, I was gonna speak and say that for me at least, it's like the feeling of maybe being too exhausted, like maybe like not knowing what to do anymore.
Existential fatigue.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was right here on Reform at QPV House. It was actually Mario and I should probably do a reaction video to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I went out and I filmed it.
Yeah.
I filmed the parade like with one of the nice cameras. And so like
I just saw part of it. Yeah.
I didn't get to go. But it's fine.
I mean, it was wild, but we should probably do a reaction video to it. But I probably have to I may have to I have to scan it and censor it.
Yeah.
Because it was, and then people were coming up and like kissing me as I'm like filming too. So, because it was just all about the love, and that's great. And so it was just, it was wild. But I was kind of glad because Jimmy didn't want to go, but I'm kind of glad he didn't go because it would have been hard for me to like look after him as I was like, because I just went into the middle of the parade because I just act like I'm a news anchor. And they're all like, oh, yay, because I have like a professional camera. So it was the footage is like, you'll laugh when you see the whole thing because people like look, you think that they were on CNN.
Yeah.
It's so
that's
funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I have to say that.
Yeah. What did he say?
I can't really picture Mario in drag, not because of any gender reasons, more that he seems too sweet for that diva attitude.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because drag
But
queens, they know how to read you. Like
Yeah.
they'll like read you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why I have like a love-hate relationship. Like with, there's not any hate. It's more like, but like drag queens, like they can be really mean if they want to be. Because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
they have to defend themselves coming up. So they always knew you always had to have a comeback, you know? So if
Yeah.
anyone ever said an insult to you, you had to have like an insult ready to give back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And drag queens go for the jugular. They just go straight to it. They know your weak spot
Yep.
and your
Good
armor.
Because they can.
Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I love it. There's a whole like discovery. It's because he has some handsome bone structure and it translates well to the drag look. It's true.
Thank you, Michael.
John Scott, I feel the same way. I feel like with enough makeup, you could pull anything off. But can someone be burned out before they've even established a career? Do you think? I would say yes, because I think of all the stuff that they're exposed to.
Yeah, I think it can get to anybody at any point in their lives.
I think we're seeing little kids getting like burned out, and that's why like we're like taking away their phones. But then at the same time, they're like, no. But then like, well, no, I do need to have it taken away.
Yeah, no, I do believe that a kid with an iPad can be burned out, and it's just about consumption, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
like the access to the internet, for example.
Yeah, and that is just it becomes consuming too much about something is always going to be bad for you, and like it's also crazy to think like, okay, going back to we grew up with technology, right? But I didn't grow up with an iPad like pasted to my eyes all 24/7 or every time I wanted it or needed it or whatever.
Because you're actually on the older end of Gen Z, because Gen Z goes all the way down to
2012.
Yeah, 2012. So
crazy.
Right. So like Jimmy is the last year of Gen Z. So he's like on the verge of Gen Alpha. But Gen Alpha, they've always had something in front of their face, like nonstop.
Or like pandemic kids. Those are scary. Like no, for real.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
It says, how do you cope with burnout with acting and performance?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's hard. I'm a person that struggles with mental health as a whole, but like burnout specifically, it's so hard to get around because you're the performer is the instrument and the thing that you're gonna watch or play with. And so if I'm not feeling in the right mindset, I know that I'm not gonna be able to do the job as I would be. So it's very important for me to like take a step back when I'm taking in a lot of work and give myself those times to rest and like actually listen to what my body needs at the moment. Because if not, it just gets so crazy sometimes and you start to kind of like get lost in the work or within the work.
And I think they cast you for you, like to be you at the end of the day. And I think that there was like a transition. I mean, in a way, it's always been this way, but it's like they started like just casting people where they are. It's like it used to. It's like they wanted like a lot of versatility, but then it was like, well, no, we can just cast the person like that's who they are, you know. And we saw some of that with Euphoria, but then it had like backlash because it was like they were hiring druggies off the street and stuff. And so you have to have like a range, but then within that, it's like this is at the end of the day, it's like it's some version of me. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's your body, so it's like that's some version of you. Like it doesn't mean that that's what anything that you would do, but but on some level you're justifying the situation, you know. But I think it's incredibly hard because we've done scenes where I'm working with Jimmy, and the audience is like, "Why didn't you become an actor?" And I'm like, "Oh, I could have now," you know, because it requires like a certain. I mean, I admire it. That's why I love helping actors get to where they need to be, because it's such a vulnerable act, but I think it's also very empowering, you know, too.
Definitely.
And so, and you don't really need a lot of like, I mean, some people feel like they burn out because they need the validation, but I think, you know, when you've done good work, you know, too, you're like, no, like I do good work.
Definitely.
You know?
It's a balance.
I'll check it out. HG Play.
At the end of the day, because like
listening to your body and
and really acknowledging yourself as well, because like it is really a vulnerable job, and like I think of acting as like giving voice to someone or something, or a story, a point of view, or a life itself. And so lending yourself to become that, or like live in that, and be a part of the thing. It's such a magical thing, but it's also like, I always try to put my 110% in everything that I do, because that's just how I work, and my passion gives it. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, but that makes like, that takes us like, a toll on you.
It does take a toll. Yeah,
So,
that's another expression that's like, it's like, I feel like, what's the translation for takes a toll? Like te cuesta?
Te cobra factura.
Te cobra factura.
Te cobra
That's what I was
factura.
thinking.
Yeah, but like, it takes a toll is a very powerful phrase, but it's so real. But it's like every performance like takes a piece of your soul in a way. But I've heard
in
actors,
a good way or in a bad way.
right. Well, and I think that there's a song from Joni Mitchell, and she says there's something that you give up every single day, but there's also something that you gain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and there's songs that I listen to by Joni Mitchell, and she's like really powerful. But there's a song that's like called Clouds, and I highly recommend it to anybody. But she's like, you get to a certain age, and she says, I see clouds from both sides now. Like they block out the sun, but they also like, they're beautiful, but they, you know, they rain on everyone. You know, so it's like all like the different sides of things. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Or like thinking about the same cloud, like maybe flooding somebody's home, and then like
and
making
like,
the rainforest rich again.
Yeah.
You know,
beautiful way to drive that message home. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It says, a few years ago, I raised a pride flag, skull, and bone flag on my sailboat. I love that cute PPH. Did you get any response from that cute PPH? I'd be curious. It's like a pirate flag mixed with the pride flag. Love it. Is hustle culture still attractive to Gen Z, or is that like kind of like wearing out? Hustle, like the idea that you have to like be constantly like working, like for example, kind of like Uber was like the beginning of like, oh, like, you know, you can like monetize everything too. You know, like everything became an activity, because there was a time when there wasn't like the ability to go do like, you know, you go on the internet and do tasks and get paid to go design someone's, you know, thumbnail, let's say. You know, so is hustle culture, that was definitely a part of the millennial culture, but is that part of the Gen Z thing?
I do think it is in a more performative way.
Hustle is like constantly like doing little side jobs here and like, you know.
I think it's in a more performative way, because we are also trying to fulfill this, again, like these labels of girl boss, or or like I don't know, work maxing or whatever. But the idea, I mean, for me, I think it's performative, because we're also just trying to showcase other people that we're working, or that we're doing something maybe, which might not be necessarily true. I think it's just more performative. Yeah,
I think the hustle is in like trying to be important in this world.
That's real.
I think it's like a necessity of being seen and heard, and like having a space, an important space.
That's deep though, because some people don't think they're afraid to admit that, but I think that's very real.
Yeah, because I want to feel relevant, and I'm sure you want to feel relevant, and we all want to have a space, and like a meaningful space in this world. And so like, yeah, like the hustle has become more of like showcasing a thing, not necessarily like just
actually working on it.
Exactly. Like I know a lot of people that seem so great, and then like you discover that they are so hollow.
That's what I was getting at earlier. It's like when you meet people, it's like sometimes you meet people and it's like, well, so much of it was the performance. It wasn't, they don't care about the thing.
Exactly.
It's like they're, you know, it's, and then the Kardashification of the world. It's like, that was a bit horrifying for me, because it was like, dang, like Disney doesn't care. Not that I think that we should be making her be ashamed for the rest of her life.
No.
But I think like it changed beauty standards too, which scared me. But I think it's calming down now, right? Like from the Kardashian, like, because everybody was getting the same stuff done to their face and stuff. And I was like, everyone's starting to look the same. Is that just me who's seeing that?
No, it was definitely like the Instagram face.
Yeah, it was so strange. I was like, what? But I was like, that's permanent, you know, like what you've done to your face. Would you
Exactly.
accept a stressful, high-paying job or choose a calmer life with less money?
Calmer life for less money. I mean, I'm pursuing acting, so I don't know if that's not stressful. Which, no, I'm lying. It's not stressful. The industry can be really, really harsh.
I think
But-
it's unpredictable and it doesn't explain itself.
Exactly.
And so it's
Mhm.
like there's stuff that's happening and you're like, why? Where it's like, and maybe in the industry, it's like self-evident, but where in the arts, it's like, oh, we just went in a different direction. Like, well, okay, well, sometimes you know why, or you went, but it's like it's hard to articulate, or they don't bother to.
Mhm.
So I think having it's very
Yeah.
interesting. Keep them the same way. I can't stand the letters. He's just saying like a lot of people our age, it's like it's kind of new for us all, the LGBTQ blah blah blah, because it's like we didn't grow up with those terms. So in a way it's kind of like putting us all in this one group.
Right.
It almost feels like weird. We're not against that, I don't think, but it's like he's saying he can't stand it, and I get what he's saying, because it's kind of like growing up, I never had anything in common with like a trans person. Not that I have anything against that, but it was like I would never think to put those two people in the same bucket. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
It's kind of like, just anything. It just, but so it's, I understand what he's saying. So in a way, it kind of feels like the gay community has lost like the radical acceptance. In a way, we've lost the individual little groups inside of that radical acceptance. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like each letter.
Michael McSilvers, I know you're going to say that.
Mhm.
We'll donate some of it here. I think he has a high stress job potentially. Yeah. I'm having an alphabet mafia. Yeah. I love it. So yeah, I remember them saying they might as well just say A through Z, for the community.
No, for real. Yeah, no, I've told my parents that I know that I would be happy if I only get to like do acting jobs that pay me just enough to live well, or like with the basics. But
Right.
as long as I'm still acting, I know that I'll be okay.
So
Like
true, Keith.
that's just like the feeling that I have right
Thank
now.
you, Michael.
Thank you,
And-
Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Just
Wow,
keeping the
thank
studio
you.
going. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Wow. Thank you,
Michael says he wants the whole alphabet in there, and then Keith PBS is making the argument for like they want, it's like that's still a big debate inside of the
Thank you,
community.
Michael.
Is that they're like, how much do we include? And it's
Right.
very interesting because sometimes like allies can be more allies than sometimes people inside of their own community. Not that we're fighting against each other, but it's like maybe we're all fighting for it's like siblings. We're like fighting for individuating.
Mhm.
It's like we don't want to be part of any other group because we're our own group.
Because at the end of the day, a part of the fight is to be seen and understood.
Right.
So
Thank
that
you,
makes
Michael.
sense. Like putting all these different groups, because they're so different from each other,
Right.
in the same category.
Category. And it's like, what? It's like they're so different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it does make sense that
Yeah.
within you could be fighting or like
I think millennials
competing in a way.
totally.
Mhm.
And I think millennials are more like we're more verbal about it because it's like no, like not that we have nothing against that. Like really, we don't. It's like there was a show before y'all were born called Seinfeld, and but I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he used to say, not that there's anything wrong with that, and it was we really meant it. It's like not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like that's not necessarily what I would do or whatever. But so it's like it's been a really the radical exception, which is what Michael McSilvers is saying. Like he's so like down for it because it's like we need that, because we also have generational trauma from getting slammed into walls or whatever.
Exactly.
And so it's like we just buried it down and just forget about it,
Mhm.
And so it's like I'm not advocating for that,
And that all becomes a part of it at the end of the day. Like all of
Mhm.
that common ground that you all lay on, which has been misunderstood in the way of like putting all of you together.
Mhm.
And so it gets tricky in that sense, because like how do you recognize each and every single one of them by putting them in a group
Within
that is going to be like a community that is going to be safe for
Well,
everybody.
I sometimes I'm like earlier I mentioned Herman, he's my husband, but I was like, it's so funny because I'm still like, to this day, I hesitate. I'm like, oh, he's my, you know what I mean? Because I think it's like, maybe it's opened the door for people to ask questions and that Like they don't realize they're inappropriate, or like I don't care or like what's inappropriate or not inappropriate, but I never want to make the other person feel uncomfortable is my point. But then by self-censoring, I can make the other person feel more uncomfortable because they're already thinking it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just very interesting. With AI and stuff, it's changing like the way employees work. But do you think companies are misunderstanding what employees want? Like there's been a lot of talk about like companies don't really understand like what people want anymore. And like what's the future of the company? Like
I think
in the world.
not even people know what they want anymore.
I was gonna say that. I think.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because efficiency is great, and like having it be easier for your job is awesome. But then again, like what's gonna bring you fulfillment, you know? And like, it's a thing about keeping busy and like learning and being productive and feeling like a part, like you're a part of something bigger than you. And like I think at a core, a company is that, like being a part of something bigger.
I mean, it's literally called company, right?
Exactly. Outside of the capitalism part of it all.
Right.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's about that. And so like, I don't think people. I had this debate the other day with one of my friends. He's an accountant, and so
he's boring.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's one of those jobs. They always say if you want to always have a job, be an accountant, and there's some truth to that for sure.
Yeah, but he was basically submitting all of his like tasks to AI, and I was like, okay, but are you realizing the fact that you're giving out your job to the artificial intelligence, and like then you could like that's your first step for a replacement, right? And so it's like then why are you working there? Like if you don't need or want to do the job, then what are you looking for? Like what else is there in the job that you're gonna feel good about? Like at the end of the day, you're gonna come home and then you're gonna feel what? Like
maybe in his mind it's like this is grunt work. So it's like if it's like the menial tasks,
right?
It's like in his mind he's probably like, well, it's like I'll outsource that work.
Yeah.
You know? But I get both sides of it, because it's like if you're saying if you're gonna outsource the work, then why do the work at all? Like do something else. But I get both sides of that argument, because if it's like because if you're an accountant, essentially that is the work, right? Is like the number work. And I do think some of those jobs are going to, be given to AI in general. Like it's like, maybe he's just like saying, I might as well just take advantage of it while I can to take the mental, like, load off.
Yeah.
Because there's like there's a load, that everything carries. And I think that like, but it's very alluring, and the AI is like, oh, like I'll just make this easier. But then it's like, it's like you just upload your life away to the cloud type of thing.
Exactly.
But in a way, it's like I think social media is the precursor. It was like everything on AI has been trained off of social media. So it was kind of like inevitable. Like, but you make a good point. What did he say to you? What was his response? Was he just like,
I did get his point, because like he's in that career because he was too scared to pursue anything other that wasn't related to numbers or economy. And so because of the economic side of it, like
that's right, join the chat, guys.
He's one of his one of his how do you say, come on, I forgot the word in English and Spanish.
Like
one of his main goals in life is to be like calm and like just be navigating life in a zen, very calm and zen way. Yeah. And so pursuing accounting was like a very easy outlet, or like an easy option for that thing to happen.
Because for him, there's like one right answer, like in accounting.
Exactly.
It's not like it's like, oh, there's a creative debate whether this is good or not. Because like we work in the arts, so it's like whether something is good or not is very objective.
Exactly.
Or subjective, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like for me, like I did understood that part, but like I'm one of the like, I don't know. I always need to feel like I'm learning and like challenged and like fulfilled in so many ways, like intellectually and socially and personally. And so it's like my areas were more focused on like growth
Mhm.
and like how much could I learn and where could I get to.
Mhm.
Right.
And his perspective and was like, I want a safe place so I can stay in it and like just live through that.
I think
Which-
maybe he's also anticipating like, you know, like they'll always need someone like a human being to oversee it.
Mhm.
So it's like I can outsource the task. But you're saying though that too, it's like, well, be careful because they'll realize they can just outsource the whole thing. I think in some ways, like there's like not to be like doom and gloom, but there's some inevitability about some of those jobs. And that's why like I was telling you, like we go live because it's like nothing can replace the human to human experience.
Exactly.
And so it's like, you know, we'll be on here for a couple hours so that people can like interact with us and we could be like, you know what, I got to interact today. I got to express myself. I got to say,
Discuss ideas.
right. I got to have part of the human conversation versus just scrolling, you know, or
Exactly.
everything's through WhatsApp. And like, what is that? You know, it's like, you know, it's like, someone will be in the other room and I'm just come in and talk to me,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, sometimes people, sometimes I think I have resting bee face, you know, I don't mean to. So I'm like, and then maybe they're like, oh, I was afraid to say something to you. I'm like, really, me? So it's funny because everything's relative.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So is working from home freedom or is it too isolating? What do you think? Because that was it's been a
New
relatively new
phenomenon.
phenomenon with like the internet.
I think it's for me personally, like I hate to be too much time alone. Like
Mm.
the pandemic for me was hell. Just like
It was so tough.
I just wanted it to end because I need this. Like I need to look people in the eyes and like
Mhm.
have a meaningful conversation or just talk about anything. But like
Mhm.
I was desperate to be back at that. And
Absolutely.
I only once have had an online job and
Mm.
I absolutely hate it because it's like me stuck to either my phone or my computer or like a screen, and I like the time just goes by and you sometimes like
It's
you start
draining.
9 a.m. and then you get up at 5 p.m. and then you're like, oh, I'm done, and I
Again.
feel empty. I don't know. That was the
I've had
feeling that I
those
got.
jobs. When I was working at that university, I had like a panic attack one morning and I was like, you know, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I just like, I'm not coming
Yeah.
back in, you know, because it was
Exactly.
just, it was so soul draining because it wasn't the job for me. And I was like,
Mhm.
someone else could enjoy this job, but not me.
My
So-
dad loves it, for example, because he has this part of like he gets to be with my mom and
Mhm.
like with the dogs and like at his house that he feels more comfortable than being in another city and working in a like an office that is not like really friendly and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I get that it works really well for him.
Mhm.
And I get that it doesn't work, and I don't think it will ever work for me either. Like
I think it depends a lot on the person.
Yeah.
I think I was like, I'll never work at home. And then after I had to, I was like, oh, I never wouldn't, you know? So I think, you know, as we start working on more productions
Mhm.
outside the home, like that will feed my soul, you know, because I've done that before, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So in a way it feels like yesterday, but it also feels like so far away.
Yeah.
So there were just so many more productions back then. And we
And
won't keep you too much longer, but thank you for being here. You're such a great guest. I hope you're enjoying this.
Yeah. No, and I also think it depends on the tasks that you're
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
brother does a lot of photography and like editing and stuff. And
That's
so
great.
he has a great time being in the computer and like
Mhm.
editing.
Does he edit video?
Yes.
Maybe
yeah,
we
he's
can
studying
hire him.
cinema as well.
We
So-
we have
have
Jimmy travel videos. We need help editing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to edit,
I'll
but
tell him.
we're
Yeah.
looking for someone
Mhm.
because I just don't like editing anymore. Like at some point, you just like there's something that you don't want to do anymore. You reach a certain age, like I'm done doing that.
Yeah.
like
And he loves it. So
I get it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
so creative because you get to choose like what people end up seeing in the final
Yeah.
edit.
definitely.
But it's for me. I think I get a bit of paralysis of like, what do I include? What do I cut?
Me too. I hate editing because
Yeah.
of that. It's like,
I'm like, what do I
this part
include?
is also like great, but then it's like too long now, and
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
it doesn't get like really the point. And
Mhm.
it's like, but I really want to
'Cause
watch
there's really
everything.
a million combinations, like possible combinations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's literally like it's infinite. Like
Yeah.
like how many frames do you cut? You know, like everything.
right. Yeah,
Okay, what everyday expense surprises or frustrates you the most? Like something that's like become surprisingly expensive, like over the last, your lifetime or
Food,
oh, that's a good one.
Maybe food,
gas,
gas, yeah,
crazy
transportation,
expensive.
yeah.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Yeah,
Food
I
and gas.
mean,
That's like
like-
the number one thing Americans complain about is like food prices and gas prices, I would say.
yeah.
I mean, obviously home prices as well, but
Every time I'm driving, I'm just looking at the the kilometers that I have left, and it's like I just don't want to pay for it anymore.
you're like, why?
yeah.
You're like, I dreamed a dream. And I'm always singing that song because there's something true about that. Like, because there's like, there's this thing called Hegel's theory. Like, is it Hegel's theory?
Yeah.
But it's like the thesis of this. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Dialectics.
So it's like you have the idea of what you want your life to be, and even if you do get that, it's never going to be the exact thing that you think it's going to be. They're saying electric bills, food are expensive. Electric bills are really crazy high.
That's
Food
what I miss
and fuel is so Cali and crazy. Oh yeah, and SoCal, SoCal is like Southern California. Hey Alpha, the first one, what's going on, bro?
Hey Alpha,
what's going on?
Hey.
But yeah, so gas and food.
Yeah, that makes me. Well, in Canada, the public transportation is amazing. Like amazing. I was surprised. Like the shock, the cultural shock that I got when I first arrived and I got to experience the public transportation there. It was just like, it felt like paradise, like everything worked and everything was on time, and like I knew where I was when, and like the Google Maps coordination also worked, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And like the availability
efficiency.
of exactly.
Like I was telling him, I just went to Texas, and I was telling him, I was like, it's so different. Like I can't express like but it's in a way, it's like because I took videos of Jimmy, and he was like, everything looks so clean. I'm like, that's how it is. I guess was Canada the same way? It was like very like orderly.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was just like that was one of the biggest things that I was surprised the most about Vancouver in general, and like how the people treat the city, if that makes sense. Like they understand that that's their playground and that's their space, and that's for
There's
everybody.
Consequences. If you leave a piece of trash, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so like
that's a very good point.
Yeah, looking
there's like
at
a social contract kind of going on.
Exactly. Like you're being a part of the society means a responsibility to everyone, and like everything that we share. Because also like nowadays, I don't think we think of society as a sharing thing.
Absolutely.
I think it's like so individual point of view.
Yeah.
We talked about this the day, but it's like there's certain things that like you did, like water or electricity. It's like you can diminish until there's nothing left, but then it's like, but like a street lamp, everyone can enjoy that as much as like if but it's like there's the how corrupt a country is like how much the average citizen, like how easily it takes for them to like violate the social contract, let's say. Like, and I think like the more first world in theory the country is, like the harder it is to get that person to violate the social contract. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Like I wouldn't imagine watching somebody on the street like in Vancouver just like randomly throwing trash at the ground, as simple as that.
Right.
It's like that there are trash cans and that there are 3 or 4 colors because we're gonna recycle. And like that was also a big thing for me. Like I was so confused at first. I was like, what like how do I do this? Like there's too many bins and I don't know how to recycle paper properly. Kinda. So experiencing those differences was like very eye-opening in the sense of like how our society looks like and works.
Here in Mexico.
Yeah, because like throwing a piece of trash here is just like it's not gonna be as judged as it would be in Vancouver. And I think
like in Texas they'll scream at you. Like they'll yell at you.
Yeah.
They'll be like, don't mess with tech. Like that's really like they'll yell at you. Because there was an anti-litter campaign that took off in the 80s and 90s.
Cool.
It was called Don't Mess with Texas. Yeah. But it was an anti pollution campaign. But whenever you leave a piece of trash, it's called like littering, right? So but yeah, people will scream at you. Or they'll like pick that up. They're very like in your face.
Yeah.
Alpha says in SoCal you can get robbed in public transit. It really is true. I had a crazy person. There's only like 3 or 4 lines in Southern California, like in Los Angeles, and on one of the lines, like I was like back in 2018 and 2019, there was this crazy person. He was just like staring at me like crazed. It was like the very last line. It was like midnight or something, and I had to like run, and he followed me for like 5 blocks. And I was like, why? Like, why? Like, and he was just screaming, and he just was having a psychotic episode. But Southern California has gotten really dangerous. And so that's been, somebody was in the chat earlier today, and they were like, they had a username called I Hate Karen Bath. And that's the mayor of Los Angeles right now.
Yeah.
So what's the best part of being young in Mexico City? Like, what's the best part?
The best part of being young?
Like I would say being in Mexico City, let's say, I think young kind of implies like maybe some level of freedom. Right. So I think just like being in Mexico City.
I feel like you can be yourself.
Hey, Stephen Provost, how are you?
And I think that happens in every major city.
Bare ears
that you can be yourself in like a very accepting way.
Stephen, we're glad you're here.
I think that in that you can meet people with your interests, and I mean who share your interests. And
yeah, no, definitely. I think the city holds a space for very interesting and out of the box personalities.
Yeah.
I've encountered a lot of people that I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, how did you get here? You know? And like, the freedom of expression here specifically just like feels more active. Because back in my hometown in Querétaro, was just like, it's still just like a hometown, you know? And so like dressing differently or like speaking differently or having a different point of view in something or just not wanting to be a part of a social thing that's going on. It's such a big like deal that here just like, it doesn't matter. Like you can exist in the in the way that you want to be.
In Querétaro is like more like a collective social thing.
Yeah,
like everyone does the same, like goes to the same.
Exactly. Everybody, like they opened up a new club, and so everybody was going there. And then it was kind of like mid now, so they opened up another thing, and everybody just migrated there. And so it's the same loop, and like everybody's talking about the same things and doing the same stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that's same with my hometown. I'm from Hidalgo, so I noticed it too. So.
Maybe the economy can only support like certain levels of business too. So it's like it's kind of like a symptom of a small town. It's like there's only like that one thing for the one discotheque or the one you know, like you know.
But I think it's also like a very intrinsic social thing. Especially I feel it in Querétaro a lot because like its evolution has been like very transformative. Like the city has grown so much in the past 8 years. Like it's unrecognizable from 8 years.
Is it a good thing? Like how has it changed?
It's grown. It like you have the basic things like more hospitals and more schools, and like people from Mexico City are coming to Querétaro. So that's become like that's pushing the city forward.
Right.
And so they're creating more spaces and like more more things to do in the city. But the people that have lived there long enough are still stuck with the same 5 things, and you cannot like
mindsets.
Yeah, so the new people that arrive, they're calling it to those 5 same things, and so it's like, well, no, we have all of this now, and like, why are we not making a use of it or like pushing it to grow as well?
Like maybe like there's more options to do that. People, not everyone's like capitalizing on those options, like are taking advantage of them, of different like recreational activities, or is it more like going to the new hospital, or what is it? Is it more just like
it's like
they're just trapped in their like previous behavior?
They're trapped in the gossip. I don't know how else to explain it. Like everybody knows
gossip
each other,
is a bit,
and like, and so everything's the same. And like, how's your cousin been? And I know that he has been with another girl, and like,
that's hilarious. I mean, but also like kind of like scary. Like, I mean, horrifying in the sense that like maybe there's no privacy. Like
a little bit.
Like,
I mean, it is a big city at the end of the day, but it does feel that way. Like in the same like universities, we have a bunch of them, but we like you only hear of 2 really, and they're like rivals for some reason. And so you hear of like the people of the Anahuac and the Dick, and so
Oh
it's
yes,
like
I've heard these
this
schools. Yeah.
rivalry of
Yeah.
nothingness, because like they're all from the same like colony, you know?
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, so has social media helped you discover who you are, or made you like more uncertain? Like because of all the different people out there.
Yeah.
It says daylight saving times needs to be abolished. I agree. Keep house. I don't think Mexico does it anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
It got banished 2 years ago.
I think so.
I was here when that happened. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's good. It's confusing.
Yeah.
I guess that
It
just
is.
happened. But Keith,
I
you guys
kind of
agree?
miss it, but I kind of don't.
Mhm.
Like I miss.
I haven't noticed really.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
your
That's what I
phones
mean.
automatically do stuff. But I remember
Yeah.
we used to have to switch the clocks.
Mhm.
We used to go around the house and change every clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh no, it's like, no, that I didn't change that clock. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
It used to scare me so much when the time got changed and like
It's like-
automatically on your phone, and then you were like, "What? Wait, I'm
I lost
confused,
a
like,
whole hour.
Yeah. Or like
Yeah,
I
you feel like you
gained more,
lost
but,
the
like,
notion of
how
the
did that
time.
happen? Like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's real.
No, I think social media for me, I well, my use of social media really started during the pandemic. Like before that, I wasn't really active on
Mhm.
any social media.
You like made a, you
Like
make,
I
kind of
had
made a point.
Instagram, but I didn't really engage in
Yeah.
like with it in any way. Like the recurrent post of like
Mhm.
2000.
I know you like to read because you were like, oh, look at that book. I should read that. And I'm like, yeah, take it. Because I love that.
You have
Because
to
so
turn off
few
his-
people read, and I love that you read. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
great.
I love reading. I had a theater teacher that always like was so stagnant.
Mhm.
Like
Stagnant.
what, like exigente?
Yeah.
Like demanding, or like, or was it? Did they read a lot, or were you like? Is the word
no,
like
no, like so they
staunch?
Yeah,
Like they did they recommend reading a lot, or
exactly. They were
So-
very pushy on
then
like
demanding? Yeah,
us.
exigente is like demanding,
yeah,
or like like strict.
yeah.
Like strict.
But it wasn't like they weren't demanding. They were just like explaining and like pushing us to be more familiar with books in general, because like it's, first of all, it gives you so much abilities in so many ways, like
Hello, Officer Matthews. How are
like
you?
ideas and
Mhm.
creativeness, and just like enriches your way of storytelling as well. But yeah, my mom is a big reader, so I got that passed on,
That's
which
good.
I love.
That's good.
Yeah.
Books are kind of interesting because like sometimes you don't know, especially if you pick up a book and you don't know what's going to be in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like I feel like with movies there's like a trailer, and like with books there's like the sleeve to an extent. But there's something magical about like picking up a book and not knowing what you're about to
Definitely.
read.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, but going back, it's crazy to think that like the pandemic was the years that I where I used the social media the most,
Mhm.
and it was also like my first introduction to it,
Oh.
because it, to a certain extent, it did for my personality back then.
Mhm.
Sure.
And I think now it just, I get to choose what I want to like kind of steal from
Mhm.
others and what I want to reject completely, and like
Mm.
I use it to
That's
make
a really
my
good way to
opinions
put that, because I think we've
stories. Like
people-
my opinions are stronger because of it.
yeah.
So like I love a lot of like art content and like
Mhm.
whimsy stuff.
That's such a good word. I heard you use that earlier. It's such a
Yeah.
beautiful word, like
I love
whimsy.
whimsy. It's like a feeling and like a sensation, and like
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's like also like this recognition that like how ephemeral everything
Yeah,
is.
exactly. Not tangible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally.
And so yeah, and I've like discovered a lot of people that post poetry, which I'm a big fan for. So it's like it has formed my personality in that way. But again, like I'm not a TikTok user,
Mhm.
which in my brain it would form your personality in a different way.
I
'Cause, like-
agree. That's why I don't have it. But I just downloaded it this weekend, but I didn't open up the app. But because we have someone on a television show, well,
Yeah.
they're putting shows directly on TikTok now.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, it's cool. Yes.
I mean,
No, it's cool. But at the
to a
same
certain
time, I'm
extent.
like, I don't want to be suggested a million other, you know what I mean? So I'm afraid to, because I opened up TikTok once in like 2021 and it was so addictive. I just immediately deleted it because I was
Yeah.
like, this is like, it's like learned me within 10 minutes. I was like,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
like
no.
too
It was too
smart.
intuitive. It
The
scared me.
algorithm is so trained of
It
like
was
hours of
psychotic.
usage.
Yes. I was like, because it was like sending me stuff that was like very, very funny to me, like tickling my, like people just sitting around in their living room, but like who like really had funny quips, like really funny. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But I was like, no, this is like too much. Like, I was like, because
It's too
there's a million people
intoxicating.
on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. TikTokificating. Yeah. Yeah.
No, for real. Because I had TikTok for like 2020 all the way to like half 2023,
John
which
Scott's brother's
was
a
a lot of
TikToker.
time.
Mhm.
But still, like deleting it was just one of the best decisions that I've
Freeing.
ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I can
free.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the same way for me. I think
that's a good thing.
Thank you, Kid Baby House.
Says your guest is okay for a girl. JK. He's just kidding. He's kidding. Not the same as the bodybuilder at the spa, but I definitely welcome her again. Gotta go. Have a great night. Thank you, Keith
Thank you,
PB
Keith.
House.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Thank you. So Keith PB House is like he spends a lot of his time on a boat. So that's what's really cool.
Oh,
so he's
cool.
like
Thank you,
out there sailing. He's amazing.
But yeah, I think I use social media mostly. I think it shapes my personality because I had like internet access unsupervised since I was like 13.
Yeah.
So it can shape the way you perceive the world.
Absolutely.
But nowadays I'm not a poster. I'm more like just like reading
Viewer.
stuff, viewing stuff. And so I think it's shaped me, but I also try to be like restrictive, you could say, in the way or in the things that I consume, which is a word that I don't.
I mean, it is consumption. I think we don't realize it's like it's you are consuming. It's like I remember this is again before y'all were born, but whenever they came out with 24-hour news, like that was so we all had anxiety because that all came out like right around 9/11. And it's like the 24-hour news cycle. It was like CNN came out, and then CNN had already existed, but then it's like they really started to fill their schedules, and so it created like this anxiety, and like everybody changed. And then it was like before that was like, and then social media just le metió más leña al fuego. Like there's just like it was like became like this roaring fire.
Yeah.
But
no, it's definitely a consumption, and like I think just being aware of it is a big step forward. Because like it's so easy to get lost in the whole mess of it all and like the comparison of it all as well.
Yeah, that's
just like
very dangerous.
So I've worked on a set where like sometimes you have to like work like 18 hours a day, something crazy. Like would you like do you ever feel like, because it's I think it's very gratifying, like we've been going a while here, but like have you ever like in terms of like you becoming an actor, do you feel like you would ever get burnout from being on a set? Like have you ever had that, like where you're on a set and you're like, oh my god, I'm so exhausted? Or because you get invigorated,
right?
But I guess if you worked in the same TV show, for example, Jimmy just worked on the show FBI, and this actress, she's been on the same show now for like they're going into the 9th season.
Damn.
Thank you. And so I was always wondering, I'm like, I guess at some point you could get in theory sick of anything, right? Like if you're doing it enough. But would you rather be like in a movie or a TV show?
I want to be desperately in both, but I want to experience a TV show, like a series. Because I've gotten the chance of like living in the characters just like long enough, but doesn't really like fulfill the whole experience, because a set life is very fast, and like once you're on set, it's like so fast forward and like fast moving, fast paced, that it's just like it's really easy to kind of like get lost in the work. Which can also be the exhausting part, and like the long hours as well are a thing that
there's a lot
can take a toll on like the way you're working and like how you're approaching the job. But I do want to be in a TV series, and like
the job is like more
grow
secure
with the character.
Yes,
is something that I crave. It's just it's such a beautiful thing to watch when like TV shows go on for a long time, and like seeing the same actor just like becoming something else with the character as well. It's just very magical and like cool to me. So,
No, it is. It
yeah.
is. I love it. Do you think a lot of people out there like have thousands of followers but still feel like alone? Like, do you ever see like a big person like like, you know, you wonder like, do you think like how much does influence culture? Because this is my own question. How much does influencer culture like affect you guys? Or are you guys looking at more? I hate to use the word micro influencers, but like, who do you look to like who do you look up to? And like, do you feel like how do you judge like the authenticity of the creator?
Right.
Or do you look for yourself in them, or do you look for like aspirational or some mix of both?
I think it's a mix in both. Like the people that I admire that are public figures is something like I think the recipe would be something that I don't have and something that I admire in them.
I love that word recipe. That's good. Yeah.
So like yeah, for example, like a fitness influencer that has like this whole great life in Bali, Indonesia, and like she has a great body and like a family and like a beautiful house and stuff like that. But what I truly admire of her is like how she still like, even with all of that she is and does, she stands for like women's rights and like is always like trying to inform people about the things that are going on and like what her perspective is on it. And like, yeah, and it's just the thing that I care about. And so that she takes the time and like uses her platform to make a space for that.
Because she could just be flaunting, like showing off everything, but it's like she's taking a moment to like advocate for something that she's she's powerful. Like
she's taking her position of privilege to get a point across or like share this information that not everybody has, and like her own point of view as well at the end of the day. So
I forget that not everyone is like being exposed to everything because like the algorithm's feeding you whatever you're feeding. But you're right. It's like people may follow her for XYZ, but then she's pulling out these other things, and it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I started following her because I saw that she was a fitness influencer, like a Mexican fitness influencer living in like Europe, and so I was interested in that at first, but then like how she used her platform was the thing that kept me like interested in following her and like actually watching her stories, for example, like as simple as that. Because sometimes you get across a lot of content that is not like
you don't have to say anything. Well,
I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Some content doesn't have any meat to it, but then something very simple like a story like can portray a lot of information without about
the person that is making it. And
I think that's why like reality TV is so like appealing like initially, but then people once they have a camera they start acting differently. So how real is it? Do y'all think algorithms shape young people's political beliefs more than parents in school do?
Nowadays, I think so.
I think so because, like
keep happening.
Social media can be very limiting in the way it shapes your perspective on things because it can also create like an echo chamber, as we've discussed here before, and like the fake idea that you're actually learning when you're really just like affirming the things that you already believe in.
I think that's so tricky too, right? Like you know, like so how much of it is trickery? Because it's like I'll watch something and I'm like, okay, that was just telling me what I already wanted, like I already know. You know, and it's like I'll click away because I'm like I already know what they're gonna say, or like I get the gist of it.
Although I'm not sure how political schools are nowadays. I'm not sure if there's things such as politics in school.
Well, not really, but I don't think it has ever worked that way. Like I think history tries good. A good history teacher will teach you also about politics, in my perspective, because politics do shape the world and how we experience it and like how your society lives. But yeah, I don't think it's something that is necessarily taught in schools nowadays. And also, like if you're trying to inform yourself on social media, first of all, you're gonna get what you like at first hand. You're gonna get what you want to hear, and it's also gonna be convenient for the algorithm to show you what you want, so that you keep being invested in it, and it's not gonna bother showing you any other perspectives on it because you're already hooked on that. And like it becomes the same rabbit hole. And like the other day I was talking to one of my friends about this, and like it was so weird because like with the amount of information we get, so like the misinformation is so vast nowadays, because like you're not interested in watching a 30-minute like video explaining how politics are working in the world, or like in Israel, you know. You're interested in like the 15-second version of it, or like the I'm gonna explain this to you in 2 minutes, and
Like,
so
how
you
is it
feel
even
like you know it
possible?
all. Exactly. So you finish watching it and you already have an opinion about it on it,
Right.
and knowing like 2% of it all. So it becomes like even a dangerous thing, if I may, because like how are you
Absolutely.
gonna have a strong opinion on something that you don't
You're
like
in
barely
15
know,
seconds ago,
right?
seconds ago.
Exactly. And then
I
you're
just
like
learned about
talking
it 5
about
minutes ago, and I feel very strongly about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's real. That's
Yeah.
real. That's hilarious. Do you think short form content has affected people's ability to concentrate?
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
I think that's like a given, but I just thought I'd ask. All right. Are young people becoming more informed, or are they just like exposed to more information? Like, are they actually? I think you kind of touched on that. But I think
Yeah.
you're kind of saying they're more exposed to information, but doesn't necessarily mean that they're informed.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like we're becoming smarter and like more knowledgeable. I think it's sometimes it's the opposite, because like yeah, with the misinformation and like the thinking that you know everything about the subject, or like you're an expert on the subject from a 15-second video, or like or somebody that doesn't really know it anyway, just like giving you a 1-minute explanation is not, it's not knowing about something. You know some facts that somebody told you, or like the thing like, oh, I read this thing and they saw it on a TikTok. It's like, just admitted that you saw it on a second, like a 20-second video. You know, like we can talk about it, but it's not necessarily the truth, or like something
Very
that is
powerful.
gonna like hold
in depth. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I think we see like that there's more information, but not necessarily more knowledge. And so KP House makes a good point, because he mentions that every generation has more to learn than the previous generation. So
true.
That's true. I mean, and how we decide what to focus on, like what we give our attention to. But yeah, I just think that, I mean, it's such an overload of information that it's easier to just ignore it altogether, than to pay attention.
There's that old expression, like the baby goes out with the bathwater. It's like they used to wash people like in the early days of like like the plantation living. They'd have like a bathtub outside, and the baby was like last to be washed, and they dumped the water out, but like the baby would be dumped out with the water. But I mean, I think that's where the expression comes from. The chat, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's an old expression, and then we say, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater," because everybody took a bath, but the baby was like last, and so it's like. You dump the water now because it's dirty, but it's like the baby goes with it.
Exactly.
So it's like, don't throw away the most powerful point, because there's a sea of trashy information.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're doing. It's like in a sea of information, how do we pick out what pieces are crucial for us to learn?
Yeah. With that, it's become like harder to separate the things that are like valuable and actually true as well. Because it's so easy to just like turn on your phone and like say what you're thinking, and somebody else is going to take that as a statement, as a true fact. And so it's like how much of our perspectives and our points of view and my own opinions have been shaped from others, like just nonsense on social media, you know?
I mean, I stopped posting a long time ago, but I think it was because like I'd rather talk for like 3 hours online, or 2.5 hours, versus like putting a sentence, because I'm like, it's just gonna be taken wildly out of context.
And that's
I'm just like, oh, I love this, I love so and so, and they'll be like, that person said this back in 2007. I'm like, oh, okay, like sorry. You know, like that's what that was happening during the height of cancel culture. It was just crazy. What part of your personality exists online that might not see in person? So like, is there any part of you that might exist online that maybe, because I think that's common for some people, maybe not for y'all, but you know, some people it's like they have like they had these shows like in like 10 years ago. It's like I'm secretly this online, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be anything big, but like maybe some people it's like they're secretly like obsessed with cupcakes or something. I don't know,
Right.
or obsessed with like toy chihuahuas. You know what I mean? Like, is there any part of you that exists like online that maybe nobody would see in person? Like maybe you're like into anime or something, but in the real life you'd never talk about it or something like that.
I'm kind of into writing. I don't think I showcase it as much in real life, but I try to showcase it, quote unquote, on social media, maybe.
Yeah, writing.
Yeah. And for me as well, like poetry in general. I love writing and performing poetry, and I've done like a couple of videos.
I
on
love
it.
poetry slams. Like I used to go to those like back in the day.
Yeah.
Like where people would go and do poetry and like, you know, be performative. It would be something you'd see like in a movie, and it's kind of, but they take place all the time in Los Angeles, like poetry slams, because everybody's, you know, trying their hand at the creative endeavors out there. So that's what's great about Los Angeles. I'm sure there's a lot of that probably like in Roma and Condesa, like around here.
Yeah.
I probably need
there
to go
are
to more of that.
that do. Yeah. And I think people might like, I don't know. It's with poetry specifically. It's it's very easy to be seen as cringy. Yeah, because like
no, yeah.
I mean, even if it's great poetry, like
because there's so much vulnerability.
Exactly, and like big words or like just words that you're not really using in your day-to-day vocabulary, and like the way you make it sound and how it makes you feel, and all of that is not. I don't think it's necessarily that it's not for the screens, but it's like I like performing poetry in like a live setting, not on social media.
I think you get immediate feedback too, and
yeah,
you can feel it
definitely
resonating with people.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't have a big following on social media.
Not yet. Should we drop it in the chat?
Sure.
All right. So, what is it? Instagram?
It's the Alba, DEALBA.
Did Instagram change it into the thing too? Or
Yeah.
no? Like, or is it just slash now?
No,
Like,
it's at.
Okay, so it's at. All right, what's it?
It's at the Alba. Punto dot Andre.
All right.
And yeah, I love collages, so I only post
with B as in boy, I think.
Yeah, ALBA, B of boy.
Oh, got it.
Dot AN. Yes.
Yeah, go check it out, guys.
Oh, hold on. I feel like a grandpa. I'm like, oh, did it wrong again. You know, it's like, Mima, you did it wrong. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So it's they Alba.
It's
Andre.
Dot Andre.
Okay, I think I have it right now.
Thank you, Keith, for your house.
Yes.
Thank you, Keith. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because you're like, let's just say, yeah, he's got dementia. All right, I'm joking. But that'd be funny. You know what I mean? It's funny because you get older, you're like, maybe when will that day come? You're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, we'll fix it. He's old. Leave him be.
John is asking, do you read your own poetry?
I do. If you mean like if I read it to like look back on it or like present it, both answers are yes. I normally like I don't share a lot of it, but the things that I do share is because I like really think that are supposed to be like or meant to be shared. Words are very powerful, and so the way you put them and like make them express an idea or a feeling is very special. And I've read a lot of poetry throughout the years, but like with my own, it feels like a responsibility to a certain extent.
I get that. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby Barra.
It's really beautiful to like have the other person listen to those words that you wrote and like thought of and like accommodate it in a certain way to make
Yeah.
it sound the way it does and like transmit that. So
Yeah, there is like a responsibility in words. I mean, that's a really good point.
definitely.
All right, so I'm just going to touch quickly on this and then we'll wrap up. But what originally made you want to become an exchange student? Was there something like that, like the initial with drive? Was it part of your original like language learning journey?
Yeah, I've always wanted to know more of anything and everything, and so I felt that like the life that I was living wasn't gonna give me that fulfillment, and going abroad and
that's really like good to know that about yourself, so you don't have the regret later. Like, I need to do this.
Exactly. And so like being abroad and getting to know a new culture and like a new way of living and like approaching things a different way, and Vancouver specifically is a city where a lot of like people from different places are. So I got to experience multiple cultures within one place. And so like that I think was one of my favorite things and the things that fulfilled me the most. Because getting to know so many different perspectives and like points of view and stories of life stories, it's just it amazed me, and it was something that I wasn't like really, I didn't really know that I was looking for it, but it felt so right in the moment, and like it gave me such a like thrill to keep growing and knowing. And
you're getting Mario excited because we're going to be traveling soon too, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. But we were supposed to go to like Vietnam at the end of last month.
Cool.
But I guess we just didn't for a variety of reasons. But yeah, like traveling, it's like it opens up your whole mind, right? Like you're like, wow, like right?
Definitely.
So whenever you came back, because I guess I could ask what you're most excited about, but I think you kind of told me. But like whenever you came back, what was the thing that you missed the most?
Oh, I missed the way of living. I think security, like the sense of security, is something that you cannot buy, and that I like. It was one of the things that I was the most grateful of, like living in Canada. And just like the life that I was already building there, like the community that I had built brick by brick, because I didn't know anybody, and like everybody spoke a different language, and like we all felt so different from each other, but also like united by the same experience of being in another country with another language and like experiencing a whole new life
alone.
Exactly. So I miss my community and like the opportunities that like just happen to be there, and opportunities talking in every sense of the word, like even the spaces that were like open for a poetry slam, or like just people in the park like passing a microphone and they were rapping or like singing songs and stuff like that I don't really get to see here as much. So yeah, I think the community and like the life that I was already building is the thing that I miss the most. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you, Bobby.
Was there an immediate culture shock when you first got there, or was it more like subtle? Or
no, it was subtle. I did an exchange when I was in high school. I was in Hamilton, Ontario. But it was like I didn't really get to go out and stuff because it was the pandemic. But
you're like, oh, I know, and that sucks.
Yeah, but I still got like some of it, like a taste of it. But when I first arrived, the cultural shock was like how nice people were. Like getting to a store and like, oh hi, oh my god, you look so pretty,
and like it being like genuine.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm feeling like it wasn't just like they're helping me out in the store. It was just like a genuine thing, and it was like, oh good. And once I understood that I could get on a conversation from that, it was like, oh, this is nice, because it sometimes like obviously people are doing their job and you don't want to steal a lot of their time. Yeah, exactly. But that like genuine interest and like any social interaction, or just like the way they say hello and goodbye. It was just so welcome.
Canadians are like famous for their like genuine hospitality.
Exactly.
Like
And
politeness.
their politeness and like their sense of like care for each other is also like a very innate thing.
Like the social
have.
contract again, like going back to like caring for your neighbors is like such a powerful thing. And it's like, where did we go? Where did we lose that? Because a lot of parts of the world, it seems like they've lost that.
Yeah.
But NASCAR all out, he said Canadians are nice. He grew up in Woodstock, Ontario.
Oh, nice.
And he asked earlier, like, what are y'all's passions? But I think y'all both talked about like obviously acting and writing.
Yeah.
But NASCAR said he's like secretly obsessed with like NASCAR. I'm guessing like your username on everything's on NASCAR because obviously,
cool. I mean, that's a nice.
you like to go fast.
So fake. Yeah, that's nice.
Jimmy likes to go fast.
He does.
All right. So before we go, do y'all have any anything else y'all want to add? Because I've got endless questions for y'all. But I would say, let's see here. I'm going to pick out the best ones here. This is a good one. Is anxiety a rational response to the modern world? Because like, there's a lot of Gen Z that talks about anxiety just in general. I don't think y'all are anxious. Maybe anxiety is something you can kind of experience privately too. Maybe it's not on full display.
Yeah. Sometimes.
But do you feel like it's a rational response in the modern world?
Irrational or rational?
Rational. Like, is it a rational response? Because some people experience anxiety. I would say like maybe it's here the latest Hollywood update and it says something. Yeah.
Like to a certain extent,
mm-hmm.
I think it's a normal response to all the exposure that we get with social media.
I think so.
Like you don't necessarily need to be a part of the people that do a lot of posting, like have a lot of presence on social media necessarily to have that anxiety. Because I think it involves on a lot of different aspects of your life, like comparison and like how you approach new people and how do you like even sharing your Instagram and what does that make you feel? And it sometimes does give me a little bit of anxiety to think like, oh, I don't have a lot, like he has more followers than me. Like he's gonna see that I have this on my profile and his profile is so different, or you know, like it's rational, but it's such like a, I don't want to say dumb, but like a
no, I think it's like you said, it's rational. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean it's like something that you would choose to feel, but it's like a rational response. It's like a natural response to the situation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that like you've thought there and reasoned through it. But
Exactly.
it's an instinctual response.
Exactly.
I hate Karen Bass is like, tell them about how horrible Karen Bass is. She destroyed my life. Yeah. And listen, you're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of controversy in California with this particular mayor. So, and then Bobby Ibarra says, anxiety is not necessarily bad. I agree. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just part of life.
It's kind of like a...
This is my final question. So thank you for being here so long because as we don't always go this long, but it's been such a delight and people are coming in, they're getting off work and people are watching from all around. So, but Mario, were you going to say something? Sorry.
Oh, no, I just was going to add to Bobby's comment. I think anxiety, is like a survival mechanism as well. So not necessarily bad, but sometimes it is irrational in the way it presents through like human symptoms, like sweating or like panic attacks, maybe for some people.
Right.
But the reason behind it tends to be irrational. I think rational. I think. Yeah,
I mean. That's what I meant though. Like I think it's backwards. I think that the physiological response is like justified in some way, like rational. It's the rational part of it because you're feeling it and it's real and it's something that it's provoking this response on your body. But necessarily like the thing or the topic or like the way it got
there.
Exactly. It's just sometimes very, I don't know, like weird. Because like, why am I worrying if like he has more numbers on the thing and I don't, you know, and like what does that like entitle
I think one of the things about like Oprah back in the day, whenever she was on television in the 80s and the 90s and then ended in the early 2000s, was like her show just like became explosively popular because she was just so like radically honest, like
Yeah.
she was like
Yeah.
radically honest with her guest, and there's no one else on television doing that.
Yeah.
And it was like it just like broke through, like so like everyone was telling her like don't do it, don't go nationwide, because she was a regional show in Chicago. And there was this guy who was really huge in the 80s. His name was Phil Donahue. He had like the #1 talk show.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh no, like you'll never be able to beat him in the ratings. She beat him on day one. Like, and she like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because, and she's actually gotten political since then. And it's actually hurt her reach, I think. But, which is kind of sad, but Oprah, I cannot tell you how, like, she was like the most famous person in America for like 2 decades.
Yeah.
And, there was no one else on television having these types of like honest conversations. And so I think like that is like so powerful, like just the power of like radical honesty. And like whenever it's like you see other people and you let them express themselves, it's like it just changed television like forever. Like John Scott says she crushed Phil. Yeah. Her competition was this guy named Phil Donahue. And his show, like after Oprah came out, like Phil Donahue's show, like kind of was a joke, because it's like her show was so raw and real. I can't tell you like how it transformed media forever. There was no one who was doing that, like nobody. Like she would have someone on her show who like was like had a green mohawk, and like they were like punks and crazy stuff, and everyone else would have them on their show to just make fun of them. And she'd be like, "What is it that she like really wants to know, like why they're?" And then would just open up like a flower to her, like, and it was like so. Like, are people who had been through horrific things as children and saying like, how did you cope with that? And like having these honest conversations. So really like, opened up the doors for like being able to like heal and like a public way. And it was like Oprah every day was like therapy. So it was just, it's so wild. And so I everyone my age, we all miss the Oprah from back then. I think Oprah is still that person. It's just that there's not as much of a platform for it. Like we were all watching Oprah at the same time.
Exactly.
Right. So there was something cathartic about watching it together. Sultan, I agree.
Thank you, Sultan.
Thank you.
All right. So do you think young people have, like, is there too much information and can that affect your ability to have like wisdom? Or like, how do you find wisdom? Like, how do you find wisdom in your life?
I think I find it in the right people, like people that spark my curiosity, or like I call it scratching my brain the right way.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And books, honestly, because I'm always sketchy about the things that I see on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, as you should be. Yeah, like you're skeptical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like, I don't know, I think it's like the comfort of a book, and I don't need to doubt on it. Like maybe, yes, it's the same thing of like their perspective on their experience and like from their point of view, but it feels more like tangible and like easy to emerge with, like submerge in it than like being. Yeah, I don't really like. I consume a lot of interesting and like educational content on YouTube, for example, but I don't.
I typically love YouTube because people go into the essays, like the video essays, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I really get, or maybe I agree or don't agree, or by the end I'm like, oh, that they make a good point, about something.
Exactly.
But
I don't seem to see it as like as educational for some reason. Like I'm still kind of like judgmental about it, which,
well, maybe you should be. Maybe it's just critical thinking, like instead of just like accepting it for what it is. It's like,
because there's also like a lot of topics and like a lot of information that I've gotten from YouTube that is so valuable and that I still to this day like apply and like believe in and have read after, like about the thing that I saw first on YouTube.
Right.
And that I think is when it becomes knowledge, like when you take an idea or like take a piece of information and apply it, I think then that's when it becomes like a knowledgeable thing.
I love it.
Because if not, it's just like mental. things.
It's like
So-
theory. It's like
Exactly.
theory until it's been applied.
Exactly.
It makes it like more solid, more real.
Yeah.
That's a really beautiful way to put that.
For me, I think it's about experiences mostly. Like we were talking a little bit about how isolation can also help you like understand yourself and like know things better on your own, maybe. So I think a lot of my wisdom, if I have any, comes from that.
You do. I've seen it.
Thank you.
I've seen it.
I think it comes. Thank you. I think it comes from that. Maybe isolation, but mostly experience. Like I know a lot of people our age who are afraid of going to do things on their own.
Yeah.
Like going to the theater or everything. So I think I try to not negate those things to myself. I mean, that's a silly example, but some other things as well.
No, going to the cinema alone is scary and amazing at the same time. Like the first time that I did it, it was just like it felt transformational for some reason. And then like I remember,
I know a lot of people like who don't like it,
Mhm.
okay,
and there's
kinda
nothing
agree.
wrong if you don't like it. But
I did it a lot. I remember the first time I did
Yeah.
it, and it is something. It feels weird, but at
Yeah.
the same time, you don't need to like, no one's saying like, what did they say? What happened? Or or you're like, and no one's on their phone, and you're
exactly.
able to like have the like full cinematic experience on your
present.
own.
Yeah.
But that's a really good point. No one's ever talked about that in a long time. But that's a big thing for every generation because the
Yeah.
cinema's been around for over 100 years now.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like it has become like this social event,
Yeah.
you know, like because it's like this reminds me of like Cinema Paradiso,
Mm.
the
Yeah.
movie, and like
Yeah.
just like how that is portrayed.
Yeah.
But the opportunity to do it alone as well and like indulge
Yeah,
in,
like,
in it that
'Cause
way.
I think there's a lot of knowledge or wisdom you could say there too, because you get to learn also from like observing other people and their
Yeah,
behaviors.
people watching. It's a lost art.
I love
I
it.
think it's like
I mean, it might
That's
sound
the only bad thing about being famous is that you have to like go behind the like a window to like people watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you ever
Yeah.
worked with people that become famous, like the biggest thing that they lament is that they can't go to the park and like people
Yeah.
watch because everyone's looking at them.
Mhm.
So it's like they miss that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's real.
people
You know,
watching is one of my favorite things
it's
to do
so-
on the
I mean,
daily
just to-
basis. Like
I think you get secondhand like wisdom by
Yeah.
watching people's like physical behavior.
Yeah.
Even if they're doing stuff wrong, you still learn from it.
yeah,
Does that
Yeah.
make sense? I don't know how.
absolutely.
I love even if someone's like feeding the pigeons, like I love to see like, or I'm like, oh, that person has a bad back,
Yeah.
or that person has,
Or
or you can kind
how-
of tell like this person's been out in the sun a whole lot,
Yeah.
or you see little things and then you learn like,
Yeah.
Or like how people are interacting with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
It's also
Yeah.
very curious, like to
or she really likes him, but he doesn't really like her.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
vice versa.
exactly. Yeah, I love that. It's like
Yeah.
gossip, but like
No, it's
In a
it's
more-
better than gossip because it's
Yeah.
you visually see it in real time.
exactly.
Yeah, because then you get to maybe tell yourself, "Oh, I don't want that for myself necessarily."
Yeah.
Not to judge them, but to kind of just realize that maybe you don't want that in your life.
To be in that position.
Uh-huh.
like,
Or
yourself.
or you see someone like in a marriage and you're like, oh, they hate each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no.
Exactly.
Or you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm in one of those. I'm kidding.
You're like
Mm.
if you're watching
Yeah.
like somebody just dance on the streets because they got so excited like telling something, they just like start jumping and like
Mm.
fooling around. It's like that's so
Mm.
great, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that like brings of joy
Yeah.
always make me
People that can
makes
just
me
break out
happy.
into dance, I admire them so much. I mean, and I've done it, but like in like public places, it's like dance is so like freaking spiritual.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like just being able to like, and there's an old expression in English called cut a rug. Like it's like
Yeah.
literally cut a rug. It's like being like just breaking out into dance.
right.
And it's just a fascinating thing. Okay, these are my last 5 questions. All right, so do you guys think, and this is all over the place, but do you think AI will create more opportunities for Gen Z, or will it ultimately end up eliminating more careers that young people are currently preparing for? I don't know if we can answer that. I mean, it's what is your prediction? I guess.
My prediction is that it's gonna like slowly consume all of the
You're like,
I'm like no.
Let me
Not
tell you
this
what I really
again.
think. No, I mean
No,
it's
no, no.
it's real. I mean it's real. I think with the just say yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you're like I think it's okay to have a picture, and like what's your honest prediction? Because like you were telling your accountant friend, you're like, dude, like
Yeah. But on a positive note, I think as human beings, we're always going to find the way of like to keep creating and opportunities for ourselves and like creative outlets that that lead to opportunities for everybody. I think like we're not the human mind, I don't think it's very easy to like settle down and like put away.
Yeah.
So
human spirit.
That's a good way to put that. I've never heard that. Settle down and put away. Yeah, it's like we need to be creating and like you know, we're putting on a show right now.
Yeah.
But people, it's like there's also like a conversation. So it's like I think there's something kind of spiritual about these little things too, because it's like people are watching and they can contribute, and it's almost like a little church. Do you know what I mean? Because we miss the communal experience.
Absolutely.
Did your family go to church? Did your family go to church?
I was a very Catholic kid when I was growing up. I separated from the church because of like my beliefs.
Sure.
I was discovering my sexuality and like forming my morals and values, and like going back to the church and hearing all of this like negative things about the people that I loved the most was like so hurtful. And like I was just very confused about like how I was loving this thing that I thought loved me back, but then it didn't feel that way when I wasn't fitting into the like the box that they wanted me to be in. And so it was like a whole thing. It was like a whole identity thing that shifted, because like
losing your church is like, it's like low key devastating, or just overtly devastating. It doesn't have to be low key.
Yeah.
Because I think like when my parents got divorced, like the town, it was a little town, they picked sides, you know. And I remember thinking like how petty the church was, and so it made me kind of sad too, because that was part of my like disenchantment with the church. I think that it wouldn't surprise me if we see like a resurgence, if like, you know, everyone does kind of lose their jobs to AI, like we're like if like the rise of like the cults, you know, will come back. You know what I mean? Like, because I think people will be looking for religious.
Yeah, just look forward to something.
Yeah, like they need something to believe in, which is like that book, the Napoleon of Notting Hill. It's like people they like were grasping onto anything, even if it was like a joke, because it was like we needed something to take seriously. And I think like cynicism is like one of the worst symptoms of like modernity, you know. Like not adding like a disdain for everything. Or like the word cringe, I never use that word until like Gen Z started using it all the time. I was like, I never use that word, and I work in the arts, you know. I've seen things that are total cringe, but I'm like, oh, I see what they're going for, so I wouldn't be like cringe, you know, because you know, you have to have this built-in empathy. Do you think democracy, education, and traditional institutions are still working for young people? I think that's like on a lot of people's minds.
I think at least for Mexico, it's still working in a way that you still need like a college degree, for example, to get a job. But I do think that in more advanced societies, let's say, you can learn a lot from just doing the craft itself, and like you get some more opportunities. I mean, at least from my experience, but I do think that Mexico is still like, you still kind of need that education, because otherwise you kind of get lost into like everyone else's, you know, dynamics.
Yeah. Could you repeat the question?
I was going to say, because the question is kind of long, but do you believe democracy, education, it's on screen now, and traditional institutions are like, they still work for young people? Like they still like like y'all are the benefactors of these systems, because there's a lot of talk about like, what is the future of humanity as a whole? Because we're seeing it unplay so fast in real time. It's affecting, you know, primarily technology and like belief systems. And just like the fall of the church during my lifetime has been I kind of left the church for the same reason, but at the same time I still find it to be kind of horrific. Because it's like, it used to mean so much, and also the atrocities that like the Catholic Church was committing. You know, that was like, but at the same time I'm like, what? Like, you know, but I also think it's like a loss, you know, like you know, maybe because I want the church to be more than it has been. Or any institution.
Or the part of like it being your like your spirituality. And like the place that you put your mind to, or like your peace on, or like you rely on it on some way. And I think the youth that are on those like levels where like companies are working for like the younger generations. But I think just like with the way that things have developed throughout the years, and like here in Mexico, like the people up are older, and it's always like feels like it serves only for like capitalism at the moment, and like keeping everything and like the peace, like keeping the peace while also getting to where they want to be in like a
you make
very
a good point, because I like
manipulating way.
Yes, last year like something happened on the street, and I was like, we need to put like bars on the, because there's some floors in this building like have bars, like you can't even get out of the floor out of the elevator. And I was like, maybe we need to add bars, because I was thinking about like with, because part of AI is like greed, right? Like the idea of like, we'll just get rid of all these people's jobs and just the AI will edit the video, the AI will do everything,
Yeah.
And so it's like working against like some level of egalitarianism or equality, just, and how, like you said, it's like serving those who already have. And so it's like, at what point will that create such a societal instability that people are just going to go to the streets and be like, more like French Revolution style?
Yeah.
I think we're not necessarily far away from that. Jim Winship says, I was forced to go to church as a boy and I'm over it now. Last 3 questions. Is Gen Z trying to repair society, or are they quietly withdrawing from it, or both?
I think in the trying to save society, we're getting lost. Because like, how do you do it, right? And like,
yeah, it's like, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm gonna go save society.
Exactly. And with so much empathy, for example, like you can get so far with that. Like,
by the way, everyone's so impressed that we have not had any water, and they're like,
that's true.
They were like, we are so impressed that like she has not had one. I'm like, I am too. This is her first time, and like, I'm like, do you want some water?
I love talking.
No, I saw that in you, and I'm like, this is what we need. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, so, but anyway, but I haven't had any either. So.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Herman,
if you're watching, bring water. I think there's on the other side of that. We installed this glass because I was like, this will be the podcast area for now.
Okay.
And so, but Herman, if you're watching, trae agua. Oh, you have your water? Okay, good. That's a beautiful water bottle. We're not sponsored by that water bottle.
We're not sponsored.
Yeah.
But
it's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love the Boba Fett one. The one that looks like
with
the olive green.
Yeah, it's so cute.
That one.
We should probably do a Star Wars episode. We just talk about like
yes,
like what are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? What's great about it? What's the most iconic parts about it?
Yeah. Till this day, I'm still impressed that Natalie Portman, while recording the first episodes, she was studying psychology in Harvard.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
manifest that.
What do you mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I'm walking through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played a game called Who Am I? And sometimes we'll play that like where especially Jimmy loves it, but like you'll write a person on your forehead and the other person has to guess.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, he was like, she's from Israel. And I was like, I'm like, who? And it was Natalie Portman. I didn't realize she was born in Israel, but I don't think her family, I don't know, her family's Americans, but I guess there happen to be in Israel. I don't know. But anyway, I know she's Jewish, but I was like, Gal Gadot. I'm like, who? I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was, but I watched the we talked about it previously, like the other Berlin girl. Oh, so beautiful. If you haven't seen that movie yet, y'all go check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Second to last question. Penultima. All right. What responsibility does your generation have to the generation that comes next? Like your generation to the next generation? Thank you, Sultan.
Oof.
Thank you, Sultan.
Sultan's like, I love Brent's English. Some people watch here because I speak in full sentences. And if you've noticed, people on the internet rarely like finish their sentences.
Yeah.
Because I guess everyone's talking in like 15-second clips,
Yeah.
like so
Have
some people
ideas.
watch to learn. And by the way, your English is so impeccable. It's like you would never think that you'd think that it was just your first like your first and only language.
Oh, thank you.
Both you and Mario, both very complimentary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like an utopia, but maybe just living a better world for like the younger generations, and like and by that I don't mean necessarily like to change the whole world, but just to keep them interested in like what matters, and what matters is like education, and like being like a human being, like being nice to your neighbors, and being nice to yourself. I do think that those core values are the things that we should like inherit to younger generations.
Yeah, I think empathy would be one of the major things that I would like to pass on to other generations, and like, because I think empathy is going to lead you to human connection, and human connection is just going to make everything better. And like, just the maintaining the union within, like, between all of us is always going to make it so much better. And like, just realizing that we are a whole together, not like we don't need to be separated by all of these things that distracts us from from connecting at the end of the day. So and I think empathy is such like a big step forward to get to that, and just like being
I could cry like what I mean, y'all are giving me like genuine hope, you know.
Yeah, because being open to the other person being different, and like accepting the fact that we're gonna experience life differently, but we can go together through that in our own way, and like our own line of life. That is, I think, the goal.
And you know, it's interesting because I made the little like Gen Z burnout, but it's like y'all are not examples of burnout. I think y'all are examples of the people who are not burnt out, because you're still ideating and like interacting with the world.
We still have hope.
Yeah. Well, that's my last question, actually. Bobby Barra. So he says, what can I make a point? The question leaves out the fact that Gen Z exists with other generations. We learn from the older generations and mentor the younger. We solve the problems together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Bobby Barra. Very good. I agree. All right. So what in this world that you see or witness, like what gives you genuine hope?
Activism. People fighting for what they believe in, and like fighting in the sense of not harming anybody, but just like putting yourself out there, and like your opinion, and your just like that gives me a lot of hope, because it means that we're still, first of all, capable of doing that, which is a big thing. Like, we have the freedom to express what we think and what we think is right, and fight for it. And also the fact that it exists, and that we have things to fight for, right? Because when you have no fight left in you, then it means that you're surrendering to the thing that is in front of you. So I think, it's just, it gives me hope that we are filled with rage somehow.
Yeah, well, maybe like you're not, you know, that things can be different or better. So it's like not like just falling into conformity. So it's like you know, maybe it can manifest as rage or discontentment. But I know what you mean, though, like the rage aspect, like, because like you need something to like to spark you to do the thing.
Exactly,
because it means you still care, right? Like
you still care, and it still matters, right? So that gives me hope.
I think for me, it's when I see like people being nice to each other. I mean, it's a simple thing, but it gives me hope, because I think, well, then it's not everything is lost, because we still get to see like these human interactions that are nice. And for example, I see Jimmy growing up, and it's so like, it fills me with hope, because it's like, this kid is still a kid. And so I think we should preserve that. Like, kids shouldn't try to grow like super fast, because we all should have like our own experiences and everything. So
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, how much, you know, I don't want to force him to grow up too fast. Like, I want him to understand some core concepts to protect himself. But at the same time, I'm like, there is like such beauty in like the innocence of like of childhood, and like the sense.
I mean more, I mean more like kids following trends, because I do see that too, like kids dressing up as like, you know, adults and getting makeup done. And I think those things are, you know, they will come later in life. I was more referring to that, but I just think I
love that too. You're right. It's like, especially like with young women, you see like little girl. I'm like, what? Like, that's a toddler. Why does she have makeup on? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. So John Scott says, I think tomorrow is going to be just fine. I agree.
We're all going to be okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
All right. I will have one. Like, when people look back at Gen Z 50 years from now, what do you think? What do you hope they will say your generation changed about the world? That's the last.
I hope it's going to be that we were always we always kept fighting for what we wanted. So I think that's one of the things that define us. Like we want something and we fight for it and we express it and like we go on and say it and like so
you recognize injustice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a hallmarker of Gen Z. It's like y'all are like, you recognize that this thing is not right and you're vocal about it.
Exactly. So that would be like one of the things that I would love our generation to be recognized for, like as fighters.
Yeah. I could see how being like the 1960s, like the anti-Vietnam group of people. Have you seen those? Like
yeah.
I see some similarities, but
like a resistance
type
of feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that maybe we should try to be remembered as, people who cared in general, like people who tried to do something even when the landscape seemed grim. I think
Thank you, Everett Dalton. Everett Dalton, he came in and said, I just want to let you know, guys, now I've been listening this whole time. Thank you, Everett Dalton. I'm so glad you've been here.
Thank you.
It says, they stand by their convictions like no other generation. I think that's so real. Yeah. Because I think my generation had a lot of conviction, but it's like we didn't necessarily, we felt like there were going to be some consequences for going out and like marching about certain things. Whereas like this generation is like quicker to be like, no, like I'm marching, I'm going out there and I'm going to stand up for it. So it makes sense. Absolutely. All right. If you guys have any final comments, leave them in the comment section before. So what we typically do is at the end we like just do a countdown. We're like literally like 10.
Okay.
9,
Cool.
Yeah, and the reason we do it is because I'm like, if you want to say anything, say it now. Like speak now, forever hold your peace. And if you guys are watching it in the replay, if you'd like to leave a super chat, now is the time to do so.
Yes.
Because we're about to wrap up, like literally right now. So did you have fun for your first time?
Oh yeah, so much. I'm so glad that I did this.
Me too. I'll sleep easier tonight because I love having conversations with people about topics, and I feel like you're full of perspective, fresh perspective.
Yeah, no, I love having this type of conversations as well with my friends and like just sitting down and deep diving into something that is just like gonna get us into like a rabbit hole maybe, but like it's so interesting and like you get out of it so like a sigh of fresh air and like
rewarding.
The rewarding part of
it's the anti doom scrolling.
Exactly.
It's like it's the opposite of this. Everything being surface.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So Avril Delton said, one question: does she like to watch old movies? Or does everyone else feel as above your birthday is it old? So he's saying like, do you like to watch movies that are like before you're born?
I do. I don't frequent them a lot. But every time I have the opportunity, I do. I'm a fan of Casablanca, for example.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I heard it from like my brother watched it first, and he was like, "Well, it's a slow beginning, but then it gets really good." And I had like the stigma of like it being I think it's 1954. I don't know.
40s.
I think it's earlier.
Sure.
It's 1942.
Yeah, 40s.
So it's okay. You'd be forgiven because it's like, this is like all we do for the living. So it's like, we're like the movie because I'm like, it's 1942. But it is a great film. Like it is so good.
Yeah. And it always amazes me to see the difference in storytelling.
Yeah.
And like how it adapts to the day and age that it is.
Yeah,
like recorded on like
film. Did you know that particular film? They thought it was going to be a disaster.
Oh, really?
So if you go to like the Wikipedia or like read about it, they thought that movie was going to be a total like train wreck. but it just came together so beautifully in the edit. And that movie has like one of the most famous ending lines. He's like, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship, and it's a very powerful movie.
It is. Yeah. It's
very powerful.
It's worth watching.
Yeah,
definitely.
John Scott says you picked like the best classic right out the top. Like,
yeah, because my next option was The Birdcage, but that's from the 90s, and I mean that's one of my favorite movies. So
it really is so good.
Oh yeah.
The Birdcage is hilarious. We were
it
just
is.
talking about that.
That's what I like about it. It's so like it's so
Casablanca.
Yeah, the first time that I watched it, I wasn't expecting anything because I didn't really know anything about the movie, and I just remember thinking, this is so hilarious for no reason, and like I need to know more about this world, and
it's
like
hilarious.
The characters are so full of joy in life and like problems.
And I love how it was like two straight men playing gay men, and like I was like, that's actually very powerful in and of itself, because they actually gave them dignity while also being hilarious.
Exactly.
Exactly. Which I love.
It was comical without being like making fun of it.
And listen, we could talk about the history of gay cinema too, because it's like in the early days, even if gay people are being made fun of, like they were just happy to be seen on screen too.
Yeah.
And obviously we've come a long way. We don't want to go back. But it was like just being seen on screen was like such a blessing, because it was like, because it's like, oh, acknowledging that person exists was like the first step.
Yeah.
So that's very fascinating. There's a whole documentary called The Celluloid Closet that I recommend. It says, how many times have you watched the same movie? Oh gosh. I mean, that's a hard one. I think it's hard to say. I've probably seen like Mean Girls probably the most out of for whatever reason. What movie have y'all seen the most? Let me question from the chat.
I think. Okay, so my honest response would be The Little Mermaid.
Oh, that actually may be accurate for me as well. Now that you're saying it. Yeah.
I love Ariel, and I love that world, and I'm still trying to become a mermaid at some point in my life.
Somebody was talking about mermaids earlier. Keith Peavyhouse was talking about mermaids.
Really?
Yeah, they had a whole like side conversation in the chat while y'all were talking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for the day where like something just like drips on me, and then I grow a tail, and I'm like, oh, mermaid.
That's so funny.
Oh, I love it. You might like the movie Mermaid too. Like,
I love it.
Yeah, because I
absolutely love it.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
But no, I'll whenever Jimmy's here, I'll sing Disney songs if he's not like participating. If he's like going, zoning out, I'll be like, I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing. And Jimmy's like, oh. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We're gonna do the countdown.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Yeah. They love the Birdcage too in the chat. They're like, oh,
yay.
Yes.
More love to the Birdcage.
It's so fun.
It's so funny.
It really is. 100%.
Yes, I do.
All right.
But thank
10.
you.
We're gonna do the countdown.
9,
10, 7. You're good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to leave a super chat, leave a super chat. Bye, guys. We love you so much.
Thank you guys for
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Andre.
Bye, Everett Dalton. Bye, Jim Winship. Bye, John Scott, Sultan.
Bye,
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Jim Winship, John Scott,
Bye, guys. We love you. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.